I always wanted to serve on a jury.
I'm really super excited to be here, so I really appreciate you having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Creating this whole trial daddy.
I want to give a big shout out to the 13th Jury Podcast and Brandi.
Yeah, I applaud you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
That every time you run into Phil Barber, you should reach for it.
And then I just look to the jury, and it's sort of like, look.
I was in the eye of the storm, and you guys were watching the storm.
Hey, if you're bored of work, come pop in and say, hey, we'll have some coffee.
You are a ray of sunshine, and I love what you've done with your YouTube channel.
Hello! Happy Friday! I see you, stalker. I see you. Is Fur Baby's mom in here? Fur Baby's mom, are you in here? Let me tell you. Lucy, Fur Baby's mom has turned Lucy into a bit of a fiend. And I'll tell you why. Fur Baby's mom sends these treats. And I went to the post office yesterday and I got these. Teddy Roosevelt. Yes. Yes. I went to the post office yesterday and Fur Baby's mom had sent these. And I wish y'all could see, I wish I could get the camera to see Lucy climbed up over here beside the desk, leaned over trying to get these. Because they turn her into a little fiend. She loves these things and will bite your hand if you try to. I've already given you one. Okay, I'm going to give you one more and then you're going to go away. You're going to poof, be gone, bro. She's literally over here fiending. Here, run away. Take it with you. Yes, I know. Take it with you. Then she grabs it and runs. Just in case. So, Fur Baby's mom, thank you for your contribution to her bad behavior. She loves these things. Also, I want to show you how cool this is. She's over there like chomping down, y'all. I got in the, she's so bad. She's so, what kind are they? They are turkey tendon rings. And I don't know if it's like dog crack or something, like, but I mean, they turn her into a psychopath. She's a fiend because she lives in a trap home. This is not a trap house, it's a trap home. Don't be coming up here for more. I gave you one. I gave you one already. You're good. Anywho, so while she's over here acting like a crazy person, I showed y'all on the members only stream Sunday. I got the box of the different Fiesta teas and from Holly, and I look how pretty this is. This came, it's the tea thing to put them in, like, oh, here, I guess I should show you this part. See how, like, you can put it in there to make it, how cool is that? Isn't that pretty? So I got that to go, like, to put the tea stuff in. So cool. I appreciate it so much, and it's really pretty too. I've never seen anything like that. It's really cool. And she's still, like, she's a psychopath. She's a psychopath. If y'all haven't heard from me by Sunday when we finish this, send help. She's a psychopath. Speaking of her cute little self being a psychopath, look at this little baby. Look at this little baby. It's a Lucy gnome. How cute is this? It looks just like her. This is like her little bed head and everything. How cute is this? It's a little Lucy gnome. So cute. It was handmade by Etsy. Let's see. Enjoy your gift from Etsy from Marsha. How stinking cute. It's a little Lucy gnome. It looks just like her. Doesn't it look just like her when she's like got her little bed head when we start real early in the mornings and I didn't brush her hair? And it's got... How cute is that? Y'all are the best. Y'all spoil me. I love it. I love it. I love my tea. I can't say I love those turkey tendon treats because they've turned her behavior into, you know, she's bad. She's bad. She's bad, y'all. No, but they're good for bribery. So, Fur Baby's mom is contributing to her delinquent behavior, but that's okay. That's okay. Whatever. Speak of the devil contributing. Marsha is AKA Fur Baby's mom. So I guess you know what? I guess it's good that you sent this for me so that it makes up for you sending those for her terrible behavior. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Y'all are so good. Y'all are so good. I appreciate it so much. How cool is that? And I've never seen that kind of teacup in my life. Like, y'all are awesome. I appreciate it. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I have had a hell of a morning. My microphone completely stopped working. You know, yesterday it stopped working and I had to swap it over to the microphone that's built into my camera. Today I had to dig out like my old, like really cheap microphone that I got when I first started. It was like $20 on Amazon. So that's what I'm using today. So if the sound is bad, that's why. For Lucy's own YouTube channel with Brandi knows. Thank you. She's bad, y'all. She's bad. She's bad. Don't let her fool you. She's bad. I appreciate it. Y'all are the best. Thank you, bro Brandi. Happy 1 month, Kelly. Speaking of my bros, did y'all see, hold on. Is Brooklyn in here? Look, yesterday, I was like, I told you I was going to have me a glass of rosé at the end of the day as a nightcap. I have to show you this. And so I posted, here it is. Let me share. I posted this, I wrote a B on this rosé is in my refrigerator, like in my little wine bar over there right now, and I didn't actually drink it. It's still in there, but I was like, I have to post about the rosé. But what's funny is I did not even notice that my bottle of rosé, the name of the wine is Josh. Josh is the bro on the stand. When I did this, I did not even realize that it was Josh. And this right here, this Josh, who's going to get back on the stand in a minute, when we start, his name is Josh. So my brosé was the best brosé, like it was the best possible brosé that I ever could have chosen. How funny is that? And I posted this last night thinking like, oh, that's funny, you know, brosé. And I did not even think about the name of the wine being Josh. And it's the only rosé I had in my wine fridge. And so I did. So I think that's freaking hilarious. And I think it was Brooklyn that was like, bro's name is Josh. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. Now I'm dying. So yeah, can't make this shit up. Also, Today is going to have to be a shorter stream. We started a little bit later because my plan was to get the rest of the, or at least most of the rest of the podcast done this morning. However, my microphone stopped working, and I tried to record on my little cheap microphone, and the sound quality is just so different, and you can tell when it swaps. So I had to order a new microphone that won't be here till Monday. And then I had it took me an hour just to get all the microphone stuff figured out. I've had quite a morning. So, so we're starting now. So that's all the mess. But the good news, I guess not. I mean, it's good news. We are going to have to end today. I don't know what time they're going to finish. Yesterday they finished at 4 Eastern, which is like 3 my time. But I have to be off by 3:30. I have a very big meeting at 4. Right? 2 o'clock LA time. Yeah, 4. So we have to end at 3:30, so we've got about 3.5 hours to hang out, watch this. If we don't finish all of today, depending on what time they end, if we don't finish all of today, then we can, we can finish it Monday or, whatever. So, but we should be able to get a good bit of it. Y'all ready to get started? I got it kind of queued up. We've got, oh yeah, this poor man probably been thinking about those text messages all night. Yeah, and you can see like he's kind of he's kind of like fidgety and stuff, and sitting in the audience. So see how it goes. Oh, the members only stream. I don't know what time it's going to be yet on Sunday. I know it's going to be probably early afternoon. That way we can get more people that were in the other time zones to be able to be a part of it. Hello. Yeah, now I'm not going to be able to record the rest of the podcast until Monday. Because I got to wait up my microphone. There's a guy out here surfing. I'm watching him in my security camera. I don't know if you can see. He's right here. And I can see him out the window. And he like bit the dust a minute ago, but you can see him right here surfing. Y'all see him? Like not surfing, but like that the waves in the front. Anyway. Are we not like... Why can I see the Why can't I hear, but I can see subtitles? What is happening? Can y'all hear that? Am I crazy? Hold on. Let me see if something did something when I had to change my microphone. Let's see. Okay, let's try this.
In June of 2017.
Now I can hear it. Can y'all hear it now?
More familiar with the app at that point?
Correct.
If I showed you a transcript of that without refresh your recollection,
Possibly.
okay, Coach.
Yes.
I was waiting on it to start because it was just showing him, and then I was like, wait, there's subtitles.
Transcript and tell me if that refreshes your recollection. Somewhat?
Yep.
So you testified to this under oath of the grand jury, correct?
That is correct.
You say it somewhat refreshes your recollection, so it's fair to say that you had a better understanding of this back in that period? Okay. I'd ask that this be admitted as a past recollection recorded.
No. Well, no, not yet. You can ask him what it did refresh.
Okay. So you said it somewhat refreshed your recollection.
Correct.
Okay. Can you tell me how you would initially set up the app?
You would download the app onto the phone.
Okay. And how would you sign up for the app?
From what that says,
well, I'm asking if this refreshed your recollection and if you could testify to it independently after being refreshed. If you can't, then you can say that.
well, I don't remember exactly. I remember from reading that, yes, that it says that you have to get an email account.
Okay, and that's based on reading this, not based on your memory being refreshed.
I don't remember how to set up the app. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now I'll move to admit it.
Well, why don't you come on up and bring the transcript with you, please?
Skip through this. Oops. Stop pressing buttons, Brandi.
Okay, Mr. Caldwell, I'm going to read this transcript verbatim, okay?
Yep.
So they begin by asking you, it's his statement, it's Tim's statement that he's going to set up some cameras up there. You say yes. So you explained it a little bit, but I want these folks to understand too. You're talking about the Alfred app and setting up phone cameras. Can you describe a little bit just what that is and how it works for us? You respond, basically, it's like what you do is you download the Alfred app on one phone, and then you download the Alfred app on another phone. So you've got to use Gmail. I believe it's Gmail you've got to use, email. And then you set them both up with the same email. So it'll give you the option as a camera or a viewer. Then you can click on one of them, and then, of course, you got to have a viewer and a camera for it to work. You can have multiple cameras, but one, you can only look at one camera at a time. So say I have two of us have a viewer app. We got the viewers, and I'm trying to look at the camera that somebody else is already looking at. It won't let you. So most people, just one person uses it. You know what I mean? So that's how it works, like a baby monitor. Like they have apps like that, like a baby monitor and all that. This you can talk through, and you can record. You can set up a motion detector, and all that too. And it just requires sort of having, this is a question, and it just sort of requires having spare phones around. You respond, yep, Wi-Fi, they work on Wi-Fi, if the phone doesn't have service or anything like that, but you can also do it on like a network too. Question, And I'll ask you only about Tim. But you know Tim to have sort of used the system before? Yes. They ask, okay, can more than one person, meaning if Tim has set up this phone camera, and he can view it on the phone, he keeps it with him, everyday phone, and he's looking at a camera he puts somewhere else, can he allow other people to also see that? You say, I think there's an option for that. I haven't gotten to that, like if, I know that you can, if you have the same email address, and you log in under the same email address, you can do that. But I believe it's one of those options, it's like Circle Trust or Trust Circle. I believe you can put it in other people's email addresses. I've never done it myself or never seen it done, so I don't know. And they ask, okay, so does it record to your phone that you're using as a viewer? You say yes. Does it automatically do that? You answer, doesn't record to your phone, no, it records to the app. Okay. Then you say, so you can record it to your phone, I believe. You can, there's an option. If you take a picture, I believe it records to your phone. If you record it, it records to the app, okay? An iPhone doesn't record video, it only takes pictures. An Android can record video and take pictures. I have an iPhone, so I'm not sure if it records, but if it records, say a motion detector, if you're not recording it manually, it records to the app. They ask, so you can then access sort of an archive on the app and look at old footage. You respond, yeah. I'll tell you, it'd be between 5 and 30 seconds or something like that. And you know what I mean? Step like that. Every time there's movement, you can set the sensitivity. So, and then I'll give you the list. It'll give you the list of them, and you can click on them, and it'll give you more of a list of them. Okay. So you were awfully familiar with how the Alfred app worked.
Back then, yes.
You also had used the app.
I did, yeah.
They're going over his last...
You testified on direct that Friday morning, Tim asked you if you knew who Jenna was.
Transcripts.
And you told Tim that you didn't know her.
Correct.
You testified that Tim asked you if you thought she was an informant.
Correct.
And you responded that on direct, you told Tim, I don't know.
Correct.
And then you suggested that Tim called Dean to talk about it.
Correct.
And you testified that he actually did call Dean, and he did talk about that.
Correct.
And then you said once Tim hung up with Dean, Tim was going to go set up surveillance through the apps.
Yeah, I assumed he was, yeah.
You assumed he was. Yesterday you testified that he said he was.
Okay, yeah, correct.
And that sort of raised red flags for you?
No, I don't understand the question.
When Tim told you that, did that raise red flags? Did that make you think that something unusual was going on?
How so?
Well, yesterday you said that made you somewhat concerned. So are you saying that Tim telling you that he might use the Alfred app was not at all concerning to you?
I guess I don't understand in what context.
The context would be the morning of that Friday.
Yep.
Tim is at your house.
Yep.
And your testimony was that he had that discussion with Dean, and that after he hung up with Dean, he was going to go use the Alfred app.
Yep.
And you indicated that made you concerned or uneasy.
So I'll say that at that time, I actually offered to give him some phones to set up the cameras.
You did?
Yeah.
You didn't say that yesterday?
I wasn't asked that yesterday.
You were asked what you did that in reaction to him saying that.
I'm sorry.
You asked what your reaction was to him saying that. And you didn't say that you offered to give him phones for this.
That is correct.
So is your testimony now that his question about Jenna didn't make you at all concerned?
I guess I don't know. Not to the point where I thought anything bad was going to happen, no.
Okay, so he wasn't really acting or behaving that unusual then that morning?
No, he was.
Okay, but that didn't confuse you or concern you at all?
This is
not
cross.
overly concerned.
Not overly concerned, so a little bit concerned.
I was worried about him, yeah.
You were worried about him?
About the way he was acting, correct.
Okay, so not about Jenna or Christine?
At that time, no.
Okay, so you didn't think that he had any designs or intention to do any harm?
He said that he was just going to go up there and check out what the situation was.
Okay, and you didn't think anything of it?
No.
And you didn't think that he thought Jenna was a snitch.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
I don't.
Okay. You don't remember what you testified to yesterday about what he asked about Jenna to you?
I said I don't know.
Okay. And what you said maybe about 5 minutes ago?
What?
So he didn't ask you if she was an informant?
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay.
What? I'm confused.
Okay, so let's try to make you not confused. He asked you if you thought she was an informant.
Correct.
And you said that you didn't know.
Right.
And it was something that you thought that he should talk to Dean about.
Correct.
Okay. And when he was going back up to the house, you didn't think that you had any concerns about them being informants or being snitches?
I didn't say that.
Okay. So what did you think he was doing?
To go check out the situation, to find out what was going on up there. Exactly what he said.
Okay. And you thought nothing of it?
I don't know what you mean.
I'm trying to figure out what you were thinking at that time.
I don't know. It was 7 years ago.
Okay. Do you remember talking to the police the day after the weekend of the murders, the Monday the 30th?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Do you remember speaking to the police in an interview on Monday the 30th after the murders?
I don't remember what date it was, but I did speak to the police, yes.
It was the day after you had been up to Meterboro with Dean.
Okay.
I mean, you were at just for reference, you were at Meterboro very early morning of the 29th. And so I'm saying the next day would be Monday, not actually Sunday.
I don't remember a specific day.
Okay. But shortly thereafter.
Yes.
And at that time you thought that maybe the women...
Well, objection. I'm quite sure what counsel's doing. Just asking him what he thought is not appropriate. You can ask him what happened.
You actually thought that they were possibly going to rob Dean.
What was that?
You thought that the women were possibly going to rob Dean.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember saying that they might be acting in cahoots?
I don't remember that.
Yes.
I feel bad for him. He's, I mean, this isn't easy. And a defense attorney coming at you accusatory is not going to be easy. Trying to trick him. And he knows that if he tricks him...
Just approach the bench about. I will explain that this transcript, there's one word that's an error. It's a word that's attributed to you. That's not a word that you actually said. Everything else is accurate, okay?
Okay.
So, please read from starting at line 17 to the end of the next page.
And just read it to yourself.
Okay.
Counsel, can I have a page reference?
Yeah, so Discovery 2217. It's also page 20 of the transcript.
Where am I starting again?
You can start line 17.
Counsel, I'm sorry, one more time with the page reference.
The discovery page is 2217 for the large bundle, but the transcript page starts on 28 of the interview.
It would be hard to have somebody that's literally sitting there trying to trip you up.
Does that reflect your recollection of that interaction on that interview?
Kind of, yeah. I really don't remember that interview at all.
Especially on things that happened so long ago.
What about this do you remember after reading this?
I remember talking with the police.
And that's it?
I don't remember our conversation at all.
Is that because you were using drugs at the time?
I was.
And alcohol?
I was.
Your Honor, can I read this into the record under recollection, past recollection recorded?
I don't know if the foundation's been met, but if counsel can tell me what lines he's indicating, I'll probably agree.
What lines?
I'm starting on line 17 through the end of the next page.
Well, I do need you to come up then.
I feel bad for him. Gosh, how long are they leaving him up there? There we go. I love speed trialing.
Okay, so in this interview, you're relaying to the police what you said you witnessed Friday morning with Tim.
Okay.
And you said that Tim told you that he was going to go set up a camera. Do you remember that?
I do remember.
Do
I remember Tim saying that to me?
Yes. And do you remember telling that to the police?
I don't remember much of the conversation from the police, honestly. I know that's what it says there, and I know it's recorded, so I must have said it.
Judge, the state has no objection for counsel reading into the record, page 28, lines 17 through 23. The state has no
All right, so you can read in lines 17 to 23 on page 28.
So you tell them he's going to set up a camera. He's telling you to see if they're in cahoots, to whatever.
So, Judge, I would ask counsel to read from the actual transcript, word for word.
Right. Was that all of 17 to 23?
But I think I missed a yeah in that, so
Hello.
I'll restart.
All right, why don't you read verbatim lines 17 to 23?
So you tell them, but he's going to set up a camera. The lieutenant responds, yeah. You continue. He's telling me, so, you can see if they're in cahoots to whatever. And then do you remember them asking you if that meant?
This is okay. This is all right.
Do you remember them asking you if that meant to dealing Dean's stuff?
Do you remember that question?
I don't remember that question. I remember it from reading it. I read it just now.
He's already said, they're badgering him about this. He's already said this. He doesn't remember it. All he remembers after reading all of those transcripts, all he remembers is that he talked to the police. This was, what did he say, 7 years ago? He doesn't remember.
And you don't remember that either?
You don't remember that question from the police, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I'll move on from this and just ask one more question. You don't remember anything else from that interview?
Honestly, I don't.
Okay. Now, on direct, the state asked you about some apps that you and Tim and Christine and Dean would use. You remember that?
You're talking about the Google Calendar?
I'm talking about communication apps.
Oh, yes.
Like Signal.
Yes.
And you yourself have used Signal?
I might have. Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yesterday you testified about delivering money to Christine at the Holy Rosary Bank in Farmington?
Yep, the Holy Rosary Credit Union, correct.
Okay.
Holy Rosary.
And that was shortly before the murders?
I don't know what time the murders took place.
Okay. I wasn't asking for any particular detail, but it was Thursday, January 27th?
It was.
And you met Christine there per Dean's instructions?
Yes.
And you had asked Tim to drive you there?
Yes.
And Tim did drive you there?
Correct.
And you testified that Christine's car was in the parking lot?
Correct.
And you thought that you saw Christine in the passenger seat?
Correct.
And ultimately, it wasn't Christine in the passenger seat?
Correct.
Now, but when you thought that it was, you opened the driver's side door?
As I remember, yes.
Okay. And you were going to get in, but that's, as you testified, that's when you saw it wasn't Christine?
Correct.
And at that point, you didn't recognize who that was?
Correct.
And eventually, Christine came out of the bank?
Correct.
And you testified that you put money in her purse?
Correct.
And you testified that you hugged her when you did that?
I believe I did, yes, correct.
Lord of mercy.
This will be projector thumbs up. I will be showing the marked as exhibit AA for ID.
Judge, can we push?
Can we approach? This is going to be the whole day, huh? Catch up in no time.
I didn't want to have you guys walk up.
Listen.
You recognize that car on the left to be Christine's Volvo?
I do.
Okay, you recognize that car to be Tim's CRV?
Yes.
And again, Tim drove you to the whole road screen to his CRV?
Correct.
And that was you who got up the passenger seat of the CRV?
I'm assuming I can't see me.
But you drove up in the passenger seat of the CRV?
Yes.
And that's you getting into the driver's seat of the Volvo?
It is.
And I'm just going to not list the time as reflecting the time of day, but just for the timestamp for the length of the video. For the record, this shows 16 hours, 47 minutes, and 5 seconds. At that point, that's you getting out of the driver's seat?
Correct.
But now you're standing near the door, so that is, again, timestamp not to reflect necessarily the date, but 16:47, and now it says 34.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
approximately 30 seconds, maybe a little bit less.
Okay.
In the driver's seat. And you close the door.
Correct.
At this point, you're standing between the two cars.
I am.
point, you opened the passenger door to the CRV.
Correct.
And you just closed the door again to remain outside the car.
Correct.
I wish we could see, like, we want to be able to see. Here, we'll just look at this while they're looking at that and we can't see. It's rainy out there.
Now, at this point, the timestamp reflects 16 hours, 50 minutes, and 20 seconds. And that's Tim stepping out of the back seat of the CRV.
Correct.
And you remain on the sidewalk standing in front of the CRV.
Correct.
You're maybe 5 to 10 feet away from each other at this point.
I don't know that.
If you're close to the light and he's close to the front door.
Okay.
I'm asking these for the record. So it appears you and Tim are standing next to each other at this point.
Correct.
This is hour 16 minutes, 30 seconds.
Totally not trial related. But if you look at security cameras in my house,
And it appears that you two are talking to each other.
condo,
Correct.
see that swirl right there? I love it when the rain starts to come in over the water sometimes because you'll see those swirls in there. I love that. I think it's so cool looking. Random. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome.
So at this point, you've walked to the back of the CRV between the two cars.
Correct.
Tim still remains standing outside.
Correct.
And now at this point, 16:50, 1:38, you two are standing next to each other.
Correct.
And again, looks like you two are talking to each other.
It does.
Again, just for the record, you two continue to talk to each other and interact with each other.
Seems to be, yeah.
All right, this is kind of, we're just watching him watch stuff.
Is that for the bank?
Hi, Dilly Pickles.
I think so, yeah.
And you didn't actually hug her?
I guess I didn't.
And Tim is still standing out there too, right?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Tim is still standing out there with you and Christy,
Correct.
And You just saw that Tim gave Christina a hug
Yes.
at 16:53:34. Right about 16:53:32, it looks like pretty much at the same time all three of you get back into your respective seats.
Correct.
At approximately 16:54, 5 seconds, Christine pulls out and drives away,
Correct.
followed immediately after by you and Tim in the CRV.
Correct.
And then about 7 minutes later, you texted Dean, "All set, brother."
Brother.
Okay.
Do you remember that? Or
I remember texting him, right? But I don't remember what time it was.
We
Yep.
good, bro. Yeah, brother. Still have Hulk Hogan in my head.
showing you the Marcus States Exhibit 17?
Yep.
You looked at this quite a bit yesterday?
I did.
Pointing to this message.
Yep, 5:02 p.m.
It's 5:02 p.m. and you say all set, brother.
Correct.
While I'm up here.
Yep.
You didn't text anything to Christine about this at this point? Kind of silly question. Like,
I don't believe I did.
Okay. And nothing to Tim at that time either?
Well, Tim was with me.
Also a silly question, but that's correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So you were reporting back to Dean?
Letting him know the money was dropped off, yes.
All right. Because Dean wanted updates about everything.
Well, objection as to.
You can lay a foundation for that question.
Okay. As you testified to yesterday, you went to the Holy Rosary Bank at Dean's instructions.
Correct.
And his instructions were to do what we saw in the video, which was to give money to Christine.
Correct.
And in response to that, after you did it, you told him that you had completed that task.
Correct.
So his instructions were to go there and then to tell him that it was completed.
I don't know if that was necessarily he told me to or I just told him.
Okay. You probably figured that he'd wanted to know that information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He kept a pretty tight grip over his money and who was paying who.
Objection on the basis of knowledge.
Yeah, if you know.
I don't know. Ask the question again, would you please?
Okay.
Yeah.
So by this point, we're in late January of 2017. So you've been selling Dean's drugs for a while at this point.
With a while.
A couple of weeks, a couple of months.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Correct.
And Dean wanted updates when you would sell drugs or when you would get money to sell drugs or from selling drugs.
Wasn't, I mean, he would want to know when his money was coming to him, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't updating him daily. If, like, it was, here, get rid of this, give me back the money when it's sold.
Okay. But you had to record everything.
What's that?
You had to record everything?
I had to record everything?
Yeah, you had to record your transactions?
I don't, how do you mean?
You didn't record who you sold to or what money?
We were trying to develop a system that way people, like, they would know where everything was going.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were trying to develop a consolidated system through that Google Calendar.
I
right?
was.
That was better and more reliable than the system you had been using.
The system I had before?
Well, there had to be some sort of system that wasn't working, which made you want to establish this new system.
No, the system was established because they spent a lot of time in Florida. So it was they knew what was going on up here while where the money was going, like when the money was in. Mm-hmm. So when they needed to re-up, I imagine.
Okay. And you said they, meaning Christine and Dean,
Correct.
being in Florida. But what we just saw there was Christine not in Florida, Christine actually being in New Hampshire.
Right.
And you were telling Dean that you had followed through by giving her money.
I let him know that, yeah, the money was dropped off.
Now, Christine is the one who had more connections to sell drugs in New
Logbook.
Hampshire than Dean.
Did he? Did she?
I'm sorry. You have to ask if he would know that.
Thank you, Amy.
Do you know who had more drug connections to people who would sell on their behalf? Was it Christine or Dean in New Hampshire?
I do now.
What I say is not testimony. So is that a question? My question to you is that, do you know who had more connections in New Hampshire to sell drugs to?
I do now.
What do you mean
Like,
by?
back then, I didn't know.
Okay, so when you say I do now, you don't mean because I told
No,
you?
no, not because you
Okay.
said so. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who was that?
Objection, again, basis of knowledge, any hearsay.
It's sustained.
How did you come to know that information?
People talking.
Okay. And tell me who those people were without saying any more information.
Well, and the hearsay objection is still sustained.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So the objection was sustained. That means you don't need to answer.
Oh, okay.
You knew that Scott Pelletier was one of Christine's connections?
One of her connections?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Okay.
I thought it was the other way around.
Okay. So she was his connection?
Objection, because you just testified.
All right. Overruled. Go ahead.
So when you say it was the other way around, she was his connection?
That's what my understanding was.
That means he was getting drugs from her?
Correct.
And he would sell them?
Correct.
And same with Stephen Clough?
I didn't know their relationship, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough. Mike DeTroya was the same way?
Yes, correct.
Do you know if Christine's drug connections were for suppliers were in California?
I think I found that out.
Those connections were not from Dean?
I know that now.
Okay. Now, you mentioned a little bit about Dean and Christine's relationship. They were boyfriend and girlfriend?
Correct.
Did you know Christine is someone who didn't like to be alone? Yes or no, it's fine.
What was the question again?
Did you know Christine is somebody who didn't like to be alone?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay. Now, in the relationship between Dean and Christine, they would fight quite a bit.
Yes.
Your term yesterday was that the relationship was pretty volatile.
Yeah, if I said that yesterday, it stands true today, yes.
Okay. And he often told you, well, I think also you said yesterday that he was a huge dick to her?
I said he was a dick, yes.
A dick, okay, not a huge dick.
But I'll agree with that.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
And
Oh my God.
he often told you how much he hated her.
Oh my God.
He would tell me, yeah.
That's going to go on the record. My face is red. That little exchange
This is
is going to be on a
signal
legal
message
record.
from Dean to you. And can you just read aloud what Dean said to you in that message?
Yep. He said, bro, I'm so fucking sick of that bitch that I have got to get her out of my life ASAP, period.
Okay.
So fair to say, you were pretty aware of his feelings about her.
I think everybody was.
Now, let's talk a little bit about Tim. In 2016, when you two reconnected, one of your plans was to start an apparel business.
Correct.
That was to create hats.
Well, different types of things, but hats were part of it.
What other types of things?
T-shirts, graphics, like vinyl graphics.
And the division of labor was such that Tim was going to be the designer or the artist.
Correct.
And you knew that Tim was a good artist.
He's a great artist.
But on that point, you knew that he worked at a place in Dover called the Rock Shop.
I thought it was Funky Rock Designs, but
Okay.
the Rock Shop.
It was a place where things were created and made out of rocks.
Yeah, I don't remember the name. I thought it was.
I could be wrong with the name too,
Okay.
but the substances, it was
Yes,
a place that
he
made
created
things out of
things with
rocks.
rocks.
All right. You never worked at that shop, right?
I did not.
Okay. All right, so back to your apparel business. You two had actually made concrete steps toward putting this business in motion?
I picked up, I bought some stuff for it, correct.
Okay. And you kept that inventory at your house?
I did.
So that included hats and T-shirts?
Correct.
And the hats were white?
They were.
Like trucker hats?
Yes.
And the front of the hat was, they were blank?
Correct.
Right, because you were going to put designs on them?
Correct.
And same with the T-shirts?
Correct.
All right. And Tim would wear these white hats without actually having any designs on them?
Well, he would draw designs on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he would wear he wore at least several of these hats? You said he would draw designs on them implying he wore multiple of these hats?
Yes, sorry, I couldn't understand what you were saying.
And he frequently wore these hats?
He did.
And it was common to see him wearing these hats?
I mean, he wore, like, I don't know if it was an everyday thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at least he wore them frequently?
Yes.
All right. Now, around the time of the murders, you were unemployed?
I believe so. I don't recall.
Okay.
Did you say unemployed or employed?
Unemployed.
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you remember leaving your job in the late summer of 2016?
I don't remember. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I showed you a transcript from the grand jury when you talked about this, might that refresh your recollection?
Possibly.
Surprised he didn't bring a big jug of water today.
Pages 10 and 11 of the grand jury transcript. So for the record, this is from your testimony to the grand jury, which was June 16, 2017.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to start reading line 10.
Yep.
And go through line 14 on the next page.
Okay.
I'm gonna skip through. What if he did like the whole? I didn't come here to read.
Recollection on your employment status?
Yeah.
Something maybe to make it a little easier. You testified in June of 2017.
Okay.
And at that time you were unemployed.
I don't remember. I said it, yes. I did say it.
Are you saying that this didn't refresh your recollection about whether you were unemployed in June of 2017?
If I'm being honest, I don't remember my employment history that well at all.
Okay, and reading this didn't refresh your recollection?
I remember leaving that job. That I do remember.
Okay, so you remember leaving a job in late summer of 2016?
Yes.
Okay, and that place was called Octagon?
Correct.
That was an emergency cleanup company?
Correct.
That was like a Serve Pro?
Correct.
You would clean up both residential and commercial spaces?
Correct.
And again, you left in late summer of 2016 from that job?
Yes.
Well, you said you remember when you left, right? You remember when you left, but you might not remember.
What I'm saying is, if you're having me ask if I remember exactly when I left that job, I'm going to tell you I don't.
Okay. Well, I'm not.
What that says is that I said that I was leaving I left the summer of 16, right? So I'm saying that it has to be true if I said it then. I probably had a better recollection back then than I do now.
Okay. But you do remember what we just talked about, what the company did, correct?
Correct.
And I'm not asking you for approximate dates.
Okay.
Like a specific date and time. But do you remember leaving that job in late summer of 2016?
I remember leaving that job.
Okay, you don't remember the date?
I don't remember the date.
Your Honor, can I enter that portion of the testimony into?
Any objection as to the date? All right, so it'll be entered as to what, late summer of 2016?
That's correct.
All right, so that'll be taken as testimony.
And one more question about this. In June of 2016, you remained unemployed? Sorry, June of 2017, you had remained unemployed?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. May I also enter that?
Is there any objection to that testimony? All right, you may enter that as well.
summer of 2017 to at least, the summer of 2016 to at least the summer of 2017, you were unemployed.
I was probably working, I was not over the table, I'll say that. I might have been working odd jobs under the table.
Okay. One of those under the table odd jobs would be selling drugs.
Correct.
And during that time, you sold more drugs over time?
I did.
Sort of became more prolific in your drug dealing?
Prolific?
That's right.
Prolific?
I don't know.
I'll say you sold more drugs, more quantities of drugs, more often, once you got into 2017 than in late 2016.
Correct.
It's prolific.
You know, I think this might be a good natural break.
All right, so it's almost 11:15. We'll break to 11:30. When we come back, we'll work till 12:15.
I would not be able, I have trouble remembering things that, here's the thing. You can have memories of things today that are what you remember. My memories of things that happened 7 years ago today will be different than what I remember from those things happening, you know, that happened 7 years ago when I talked about them 7 years ago, or even 4 years ago, or whatever. Your memories will not like all of a sudden like you're going to, you know, remember something totally different, which sometimes does happen. But the things that, like, as time goes on and you're not sitting there thinking about, you know, a conversation that you had to somebody, you know, you're not sitting there thinking about it, reliving it, and talking about it day by day. I think it would be, knowing that the defense attorney is trying to trip him up on that, and he's sitting there saying, like, I don't remember. I remember talking to him. I don't remember. Can we take a minute to watch the Kate announcement? Kate announcement? Middleton? Where's it coming from? Oh, they're about to give an update on her health.
Time. It is just surgery in order to start my treatment. But
what is
time? It has taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment. But most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte, and Louis in a way that's appropriate for them and to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. As I've said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal in my mind, body, and spirits. Having William by my side is a great source of comfort and reassurance too, as is the love, support, and kindness that has been shown by so many of you. It means so much to us both. We hope that you'll understand that as a family, we now need some time, space, and privacy while I complete my treatment. My work has always brought me a deep sense of joy, and I look forward to being back when I'm able. But for now, I must focus on making a full recovery. At this time, I'm also thinking of all those whose lives have been affected by cancer. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone.
Oh boy. That feed cut off the very beginning of it. see if I can find the very beginning.
At this time, I'm also thinking of all those whose lives have been affected by cancer.
No, that's not the beginning. It's cutting it off. What kind of cancer? Oh, hold on. Here's the whole thing. Is it?
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery. It has been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family, but I've had a fantastic medical team who have taken great care of me, for which I'm so grateful. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment. This, of course, came as a huge shock, and William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. As you can imagine, this has taken time. It has taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment. But most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte, and Louis in a way that's appropriate for them and to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. As I've said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal in my mind, body, and spirits. Having William by my side is a great source of comfort and reassurance too, as is the love, support, and kindness that has been shown by so many of you. It means so much to us both. We hope that you'll understand that as a family, we now need some time, space, and privacy while I complete my treatment. My work has always brought me a deep sense of joy, and I look forward to being back when I'm able. But for now, I must focus on making a full recovery. At this time, I'm also thinking of all those whose lives have been affected by cancer. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone.
Well, that's really sad. And she's young too, isn't she? Isn't she? Like, she and I are the same age, I think. And I was 37? 37, I think, when I was diagnosed. 4 years ago. Yeah, 37. Oh, she's 42. Okay, so we're almost the same age. She's a year older than me. That's awful. I'm telling you, it changes everything. There will always be life before cancer and life after cancer. There's never a, there's no such thing as going back to normal.
Counsel, you can continue.
Thank you.
I hate that.
All right, Mr. Caldwell, where we left off, It was your transition into becoming more prolific in selling drugs.
Prolific.
Now, you met Dean in the summer of 2016. Excuse me, September of 2016.
Yes.
And of course, September of 2016 is shortly after the late summer of 2016, which is when you left your prior job.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Meeting Dean coincided with leaving your job at Octagon.
Like the same time frame, you're saying?
Yeah, within a month or two?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you sell drugs before meeting Dean?
Yes.
And for how long prior to meeting Dean did you sell drugs for?
I've sold drugs since high school.
And was there an escalation in the type of drugs that you were selling when you met Dean?
There was an escalation in the drugs that I was selling when I started buying them off Tim.
Okay. And that was around early fall, late summer of?
Wait 1 second, I'm sorry. That's not true. I started selling methamphetamine before I met Tim.
Okay. And when you were initially hired by Dean, it actually wasn't to sell drugs?
Right.
As we established, your initial role was to intimidate people to settle their debts with Dean?
Correct.
You testified that you were fulfilling that role by being aggressive toward people?
That is what the role entailed, correct.
Okay. I believe your testimony was that you would be aggressive to people to fulfill that role.
Okay.
So you in fact were?
Correct.
What did that aggression entail?
Looking mean.
That probably helps by your large stature?
Correct.
We just established you soon transitioned in the role of selling for Dean?
The transition went from that to selling for Tim.
Okay. But you were reporting back to Dean?
At the beginning?
We're talking late 2016, early 2017. And I'm clarifying that because after January of 27, you continued to work for Dean.
Correct.
For quite a while, actually.
Well, for a while. Okay. I don't know for how long.
All right, so maybe 10, 11 months?
I don't think it was that long.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't think it's that long.
Okay. Yesterday you testified about being arrested and being charged in federal court for sales of methamphetamine.
Correct.
And that was late 2017, early 2018?
So I was arrested in 2018, right? That's what we established yesterday. That's why I was so confused by that paper. That's when that's when I sold the drugs, was 2017.
Right.
They arrested me a year later.
Okay. Well, a year later, that's 2017 to early 2018. It's not a full 12 months later. It's the year changed from 17 to 18.
Correct.
Okay. So you were selling drugs to make money?
And to get high.
So selling drugs to then buy drugs so that you could use?
Use and sell, yeah.
Okay.
For both. I was also actively using drugs.
And you knew that some people that you were selling to would then sell to other people?
Correct.
So large enough quantities that those people who were buying from you weren't just using it for personal use. They might have, but it could have been used for selling to others.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Okay. So can I talk to my attorney?
Can I see counsel at the bench for a moment?
I don't blame him for being nervous.
To the deliberation room right here, and then we'll come back.
We can try.
You know, if I were a judge and I had on one of those robes all the time, I would be wearing just heavy metal t-shirts and stuff under it. It'd be like, for sure there would be some that had cuss words, because then it would be like, haha, you don't know what I got going on.
ask
Yes,
a
please.
question again? I'll pick up where we left off. So you sold drugs in large enough quantities to buyers that they could then sell drugs to others.
Correct. I assume that they were reselling, using, whatever.
Okay. In fact, you testified before we took a break that you knew that some of these people were then reselling.
Right. I assumed.
Hold on. Let's see if I can. Look at. Diana sent us some palate cleansers. Oh, that's loud. Wait, how do you... It's not letting me do it. All right, let me see if I can figure it out. We'll keep watching this.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were large enough quantities to resell.
Okay, and they told you that they'd be doing that?
I don't recall actually having that conversation.
Okay. They'd have conversations with you about getting money from other people to pay you back? This is...
Go ahead.
But I don't remember having those conversations, but I'm sure, I'll say correct.
You'll say correct, that's correct.
That's correct.
You would sell to people who weren't connected with the Mountain Men Club?
Correct.
You would also sell to people who were connected with the Mountain Men Club?
That is correct.
And you would sell to people who were actually in the Mountain Men Club?
That is correct.
And this was beginning in late 2016 into early 2017?
I don't know the dates.
It was before the murders?
Oh, yeah, correct.
One of the people that you sold to was Rob?
Correct.
Rob was a member of the Mountain Men?
Correct.
Now, we'll talk a little bit about the Mountain Men. At this time in your life, in 2016, going into 2017,
Yep.
The Mountain Men are pretty central to your life.
Correct.
They provided a pretty important sense of belonging.
Correct.
We've heard that you referred to other members as brothers.
Correct.
So there was a strong sense of brotherhood.
Correct.
This was a huge part of your identity.
Correct.
Now, fair to say that you regret getting involved with them?
Correct.
It's getting involved with them that fostered your severe meth habit?
Yes, correct.
By the time that we're talking about, 2016, being in the club meant a lot to you.
It did.
You wanted to have a career with them.
A career? They were a motorcycle club. There was no paying positions.
Now, you spoke to the police twice at the end of January 2017.
Correct. Yes.
At one point, you spoke with Farmington police officers outside your house.
No.
This was the day before you went to the police station to give a recorded
I believe
statement?
they were state police that I talked to.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
They were police officers, though.
They were police officers.
That interaction.
Okay.
Sure.
Why don't you come up first before you turn that on?
This. Maybe they'll actually let us see stuff this time? Sidebars are gonna be.
Mr. Call, there was no career to be had with them because it was unpaid?
So, yeah, I mean, it's not a job.
Okay. And you feared losing your stature in that club because of this investigation?
Correct.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
This is a copy of the transcript from that. I'm just going to read this part. You say...
I don't know what council is doing.
All right, is it limited to the one term? Okay.
Side bro.
So, the bottom here it says, like, this is when you're talking to the police on the 29th of January. Say, like my whole fucking career with the club could be fucking destroyed.
Okay.
Like you said, you were afraid that this investigation would destroy your stature in the club.
Correct. At that time, yes.
Right. Now, you had a rank in the Mountain Men.
Had a couple.
At the time...
officer positions, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
First, you were... one of them was that you were the chapter vice president.
I was the chapter vice president, yep.
That puts you in the top 3.
Correct. Of that chapter, correct.
Okay. And you were the national sergeant at arms.
Correct.
And part of your role as the national sergeant at arms was to ensure members followed the rules of the club.
Correct.
They had to stay in line.
They had to follow the rules, correct.
And if they didn't, there would be consequences.
Correct.
And as you've mentioned, you're perfectly capable of being intimidating.
So consequences would involve fining them, like handing out a fine,
or
taking their colors away from them,
or getting kicked out.
Or getting kicked out.
And you were pretty good at warning people of these consequences.
Everybody knew the circumstances.
Okay. So there was sort of a mutual understanding amongst the members that they needed to stay in line or else they might be expelled.
Correct.
But if people did step out of line, it was your job to make sure that they got back in line or, sorry, answer that question.
My job was to make sure they followed the rules.
Okay. You had influence over who could be admitted to the club.
Every patch holder did.
And by patch holder, you mean the top 3?
No, every member that had a full set of patches.
Okay.
The 3 pieces.
And you were frequently consulted about potential new members.
How so? I mean, it was talked about, yeah.
You remember a time a man named Kendall texted you in the top 3?
I think I object at this point as to relevancy, since we're going far afield.
Right. Come on up.
Get that man some mo water.
A member of the Mountain Men.
Correct.
And there was a time, at least in January, that he texted the top 3 in a text chain that involved you that talked about meeting with David and FT.
Okay.
He said okay.
And
were you asking me?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember him saying David seems solid?
I don't remember this conversation at all.
Okay. Do you remember getting texts just to the top 3?
I don't remember that.
But you were part of the top 3.
Correct.
I mean, I think you testified to that about 5 minutes ago.
I said correct.
And your influence over who could be admitted into the club was more than others because of your stature in the top 3.
That's not correct.
You'd often give feedback about who could be admitted into the club.
We all did.
But I'm asking about you specifically.
Yes, I did.
Now, not just in the Mountain Men, but it's a part of drug culture. You're a part of a culture that forbids snitching.
Correct.
It's well known in the code that you're not supposed to rat people out.
That is correct.
You're not supposed to speak with the police.
That is correct.
This extends beyond just the police. It also extends to family members.
Correct.
Friends.
Correct.
Your girlfriend.
Correct.
So keeping secrets was part of your life at this time.
Correct.
Yesterday, you talked about some terms that were part of the drug operations that you were running. Code words like Hill Ranch installations.
Yes, yeah.
And snow plowing.
Correct.
One word you were asked about was insect.
Correct.
Are snitches referred to as insects?
No, they're referred to as rats.
Okay. So this particular reference
I knew that.
that you talked about yesterday was not about a snitch?
Was not, nope.
Okay.
Duh. Don't you watch mafia movies? Hello? He's a rat. That's what they say. Rats gotta go. That's what they say. I can't do a mafia voice very well.
So I'm going to sit to make sure he turns to the end.
Is it possible to increase the size? Can everybody see the language okay? All right.
So first, Mr. Caldwell, I'll start off with the text involving his sentence. It was brought up yesterday. 6:59 p.m. Jason, that's you.
It is.
Texting Dean.
Correct.
Says no answer, bro. Only a Facebook Messenger. Sorry if I hear back and confirm the insect problem is now affecting that house. I will let you know. ... No. That was on Monday, January 23rd, 2017.
Correct.
Let me go back to earlier that day. This is Monday, January 23rd, 9:04 a.m. Are you able to see that?
I am.
9:04 a.m. Dean texts you. Are you able to see me today about my options?
Correct.
You say, absolutely, brother. You respond in 3 minutes, correct?
Correct.
Say, absolutely, brother. Then you talk, well, let's read verbatim. I've been running around with you this morning, but I should be there around noon to 1 p.m. Is that cool? Dean says, yeah, me too. Got to go to the town clerk. At 9:42, you respond, you need a ride.
Correct.
So you were offering to help him get 2 places?
To the town clerk, yes.
Get a car of his own, right?
Yeah, correct.
At 9:43, you say, I'm in Rochester right now doing some more intel on that matter from Saturday. After I can swing up and grab you. Right?
Correct.
It's 9:43 in the morning.
Correct.
You send to Dean is at 12:53 p.m. And that's when you tell Dean that I am heading your way, bro.
Correct.
Okay. Again, this is on Monday, January 23rd.
I got the hiccups.
Now, Saturday, January 21st, was the day of the Mountain Men party that you invited Dean to.
Okay.
Correct?
I believe so, yes, correct.
Correct.
Well, we can go back to Saturday.
No, I see it. Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
He's like, get it over with. I said correct.
So
Move
you say
on, bro.
that you're collecting intel
Yep.
in Rochester
Mhm.
from Saturday.
Yep.
The insect problem came up at the Mountain Men party.
I don't remember if it came up at the party.
Okay. You spent all day at the clubhouse the day of that party.
If you tell me I did.
I mean, you started in the morning setting it up.
I don't remember. I don't recall.
Well, we can say at least we know that you were there starting at 2:32 p.m.
Or I was asking him if he was still going to go down.
Okay. Still going to come down.
Yep.
Right? So come down. You were already there.
I don't know if I was already there.
So again, the insect problem came up that Saturday.
I don't recall.
Well, you said you were doing intel in Rochester.
But you asked me, are you asking me this day or Saturday? Because I told you I don't recall if we talked about it on Saturday.
But that was the date for the Mountain Man party.
Correct.
And he was there.
Correct.
Correct, bro. Let's proceed.
So, you eventually did pick up Dean, right?
Can we get a time frame? Sorry, it's fairly generic.
On that Monday, the day that you were in Rochester, the day that he needed to go to the town clerk, you eventually did see Dean?
I don't recall.
Okay. But at 11:02 p.m., you talked about the insect problem. I'll scroll down to that point. 11:02, you say, hey bro, so I told my friend that they don't think he was at the spot. I thought, sorry, it wasn't kind of news. I got my call from my brother, and he was pretty upset with waiting. He wouldn't want to deal with it anymore. So that part that you testified to yesterday was about 10.
It was two parts of the conversation, correct? Yep.
The first part, he wasn't at the spot. I thought he was. I thought, sorry, it wasn't better news. That's referring to the insect problem.
I believe it is.
And you testified, scroll back to the top of that page, 6:52 p.m. Dean texts you, says, think you can still call it dude that he rides with, right?
Yep.
And yesterday you testified that dude referred to the insect problem.
I don't remember testifying to that. Did I?
I'm not testifying, I can't.
Okay. I don't remember testifying to that yesterday.
Let me go back then. You say, I'm in Rochester right now doing some more intel on that banner from Saturday. I can swing up and grab it. After I can swing up and grab it. Correct?
Correct.
And then 12:53, you say, I'm heading your way.
Correct.
At 1:01 p.m., about 8 minutes later, Dean texts you, okay, bro, I've gotten all stressed out. I don't have a cool head, but I'm ready. Right? That's
Correct.
referring to the insect problem?
I don't know what he's referring to. I can't recall.
Okay. That's referring to the intel that you were looking into in Rochester?
I don't know if that's what that's referring to. I don't remember.
So this happened to come after those texts about those matters?
It did come after those texts referring to those matters.
So there's no text between 1:01 and 6:52 with Dean, so you were presumably, you remember if you were with Dean at that time?
I don't.
6:52, he says, think you can still call it dude that he rides with? Your testimony is now, you don't remember what that refers to?
I don't.
Hello.
You respond, yep.
Correct. Yep.
6:52, and then at 6:59, again, you say, no answer, bro, only at Facebook Messenger, sorry if I hear back from the insect problem. It's now affecting the house, I will let you know. And then 1 minute later, you say, they usually will set the web for the night if it is.
Correct.
Now web is referring to dealing with the insect problem,
I'm assuming because I said web and insect.
and there's a dot at the end of your text.
I put ... after all my text messages.
Bro.
And then he responds, cool.
He starts it with
Yes.
bro and ends him with ...
And then about four hours later, there's no other communications between you two during that time. That's when you break the news to him that that person wasn't in the spot. So
Correct.
now that
That was. It seems to be.
So you're telling the jury that all those references to Saturday and Dean not having a full head might not be related to each other?
I am saying that because I don't remember.
You don't remember talking about the insect problem at the party?
I don't remember talking about that.
And that problem coming up in conversations with Dean, you, and other members of the Mountain Men at that party?
I don't recall that.
In that text message, you also mentioned only having Facebook Messenger as a way to communicate with one person.
I don't know if that's the only way I could communicate with that one person. I did say only Facebook Messenger. I don't know what that's in regards to.
What else could that mean if you say you only have Facebook Messenger?
Could it mean that my phone was shut off and I could only use Facebook Messenger, which wouldn't be so because I'm texting him, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at that time, you had one means of communicating with him, with that person, possibly.
Possibly. I don't know.
All right. So you would communicate over Facebook Messenger occasionally?
I would.
When you and I first started speaking yesterday, I'm almost done, Judge. When you and I first started speaking yesterday, you said how the police didn't search your phones or your property.
That's correct.
They also didn't ask to see your Facebook.
That is correct.
They didn't ask to see your Facebook messages.
That is correct.
They didn't ask to look at any of your computers.
That is correct.
And in fact, they never did look at any of your Facebook messages.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
All set? Yes. Why don't you just come up for a moment, okay? Just administratively.
Give him a bromant. I know he's ready to be off this stand. I think he's about done, right? They're about to go to lunch, right?
Dean, please leave your notebooks behind.
Please rise.
Give him a bromant before you proceed. Poor feller. Oh, jury, or the judge is about to talk. Now, okay, who was it that said he's wearing lingerie under his robe? Because now that's all I can picture when he's standing up, and it makes me uncomfortable. Casual Friday. Strange they didn't investigate him with his knowledge. Look, he gone. He running out there. Of course, it looks like he's running because it's 1.25 speed, but he's briskly walking forward. He has bromunity. We are going to run this horse to the ground. Or beat it. I don't like beating horses, though, so I just can't bring myself to say that part. I guess we're not supposed to be hearing this because they have it muted. No Pants Friday. Oh, yeah. I guess he's like talking to them and we don't get to hear. All right, so they go to lunch and we get to skip on ahead. What do you have for lunch? Potato chips, obviously. High protein lunch. Bronana pudding. That is way too much information, but I see what you did there. There we go.
Brotherhood of the Mountain.
Yep.
As you said earlier, you guys are brothers.
Correct.
And you would sign off text to each other with the slogan of the motto.
Hamburgers.
That wasn't a motto of the Mountain Men.
Okay. But that is something you would say to each other within the club.
And outside the club.
It was primarily used between members of the club.
I don't think it was primarily used for members of the club, no. It was used, it was used within the club, correct. But I would say it to other people as well.
Well, as you know, there's State's Exhibit 17, and I think at the beginning of your testimony yesterday with the state, you said you reviewed this. You reviewed your text messages, correct? To make sure that they were accurate?
What are you talking?
Prior to testifying in
Yep.
court this time around, you reviewed the summary of your text messages in that exhibit.
What I saw yesterday, yeah, correct.
The nose whistler's back.
To make sure that those were accurate.
Correct.
Okay. And throughout that, you would tell Dean or sign off text to Dean with love and respect.
Correct.
And sometimes you would abbreviate that as L&R.
Correct.
And as part of that exhibit, part of the text that you reviewed include text during that time frame with Tim.
Correct.
And you never once used love and respect when you were communicating with Tim.
In those text messages?
That's right.
Yeah, that's correct. I believe. Can I see the text messages again?
Well, I mean, it's the entire packet.
Oh, okay. No, don't
the
worry.
jurors will get that as a full exhibit,
Okay.
so they will be able to review that.
Okay.
And certainly Tim never responded to you, love and respect.
I don't remember that.
It's usually a thing that originated from people in the club.
I'll say that's fair. That's when I first learned about it.
Now, you also reviewed those texts and with Tim, and in none of those does Tim tell you how much it costs to buy drugs directly from him.
In those texts, no.
In no text where you discuss a price for you to purchase drugs from him.
In those texts, no.
And in no text to him do you tell him or discuss buying drugs from him so then you can go and sell it to other people.
In those texts, no.
And you never texted him about the snowplow accounts scheme that you were starting with Dean.
I did not.
Right. Tim was not part of that.
He was not.
But Dean was.
Correct.
And I want to go back to Saturday the 21st of January 2017. That was the day of the party at the Mountain Men Clubhouse.
Correct.
Right? That's the day that you invited Dean and he accepted the invitation to go.
Correct.
And as we looked at earlier, you had texted him and said to ensure that he was still coming.
Correct.
And he in fact did come.
He did.
You introduced him to other members of the club.
Correct.
That was his first time meeting those people?
To my knowledge.
Okay. So those, the members of the club, like you said, are like brothers, so it meant a lot for Dean to come down and hang out.
It was an invite only. Correct.
But it meant a lot to you personally that he came and hung out.
It was good to have him there, yeah.
You had to have an in rotation.
In State's Exhibit 17, you reviewed this text yesterday. At 12:34 a.m., you said, "Hey, bro, thanks so much for coming down and hanging out with me and my brother. It means a lot to me for you to come down, and I know you are so busy. But I truly consider you a brother. I'm proud to call you that. Love and respect, brother." So it meant a lot to you personally that Dean would take time out to come hang out at the club with you and your brothers.
Correct.
And at this point, you're now referring to Dean as a brother.
Correct.
And you were proud to call him that.
Correct.
Dean told you that he was happy to come, and he thought that the crew was a clan of good dudes.
Is that what he said? I can't see him.
Sure, I'll just...
Yeah.
Do you mind if I just read it to you
No,
and you can read along
yeah,
with it?
yeah.
6:24 a.m. He responds, "I was glad to be there, bro. Quite the clan of good dudes."
Correct.
Now, one of the people at the party was Ian Bates, right?
Correct.
Ian was a good friend of yours at the time,
He was?
and you introduced
Thank you.
Dean to Ian.
Correct.
At the time, Ian was a member of the Vigilantes Motorcycle Club.
Correct.
They were based out of Massachusetts.
Correct.
They had a similar code of conduct like the Mountain Men did, right? Of secrecy and silence.
Well, objection basis, if you know.
I wasn't a member of that club.
Good answer. Good answer.
I'm also going to show you Exhibit 17 one more time.
I can't imagine having to answer questions about things from 7 years ago.
We've reviewed the first two messages. I'll direct it to the third
And-
one, 10:09 a.m. He said, "Hey, bro, I just wanted to let you know I got a text from a friend again." And he said he couldn't come yesterday because he was feeling confused again. I'm starting to get real worried about him.
Correct.
Knowing that they're just
Yesterday
trying to
testified that
catch you
Tim.
in
Correct.
something.
Again, you reviewed this packet to make sure that it was complete.
Correct.
And I will turn to page 4, Saturday, January 21st, 2017. There are 3 texts on this page, correct?
Correct.
None of them involve Tim?
Correct.
Yeah, good point.
Actually texted you the day before that he was confused.
That's a good point too. He's like, hey, remember 7 years ago when you were really messed up on drugs? I need you to explain every single text that you sent at that time, and let's look at them together. And if you lie, you're going to jail.
I don't know.
Well, it's not in here, is it?
It's not in there.
That log also contains records of phone calls between parties.
Correct.
There's no phone calls between you and Tim on that day.
No, I didn't see any. Correct.
Look at this little
So
thing.
back to the party that Saturday. The snowplow accounts, or the snowplow
So
business, which is selling cocaine, that came up at the party, right?
I don't remember.
You don't remember meeting someone there who wanted to become a customer?
I don't.
Do you recall getting a text the next Monday morning after the party from someone who wanted to talk about snow removal?
I don't recall that. It was a long time ago.
You probably got a lot of text messages about snow removal.
I don't recall.
Well, your drug dealing was becoming more prolific during that time. So presumably, you were getting texts about selling cocaine through the snow removal business.
I don't recall.
Yesterday, when you answered questions from the state, you talked a little bit about some slang and some code for selling drugs when you're communicating over text message.
Correct.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about that.
Okay.
As you may know, we have a full and complete record of your cell phones from the 21st to the 29th.
Okay.
This is just marked as ID, Z5. So first, snow removal and snow plow, those are the same business, right?
I believe so.
Did they say that
7 weeks worth of work?
code for their brocane business, right?
I don't remember.
What does it mean if 7 weeks worth of work and the contract pays $400?
I don't remember.
What do accounts refer to when you had the snowplow business?
The accounts, I believe each account was, can I look at that text again?
Who's outside? Why do I hear beeping?
I'm going to show you what's being marked as Defendant's Exhibit AB for ID. So don't read this aloud, but you can read whatever you want. Okay.
Do the mountain men have flannels? I feel like that should be in their code, their bro code. Their bro. Gonna beat this dead horse. This is what happens when prosecution when you withhold discoverable material from the defense and have to retry a 7-year-old case. Good luck, this is on you. Yeah. What they say, 500 pages and 39 discs? Is that right? Is that what all they
So that sort of
didn't turn over?
familiarize you with some of the slang and code you referenced yesterday when you talked to the state about the snowplow cocaine business?
Some of it, yeah.
Okay, well, let's just start again where I was at.
Okay.
7 weeks worth of work so far, and a contract pays $400.
Still don't know what that means.
Okay.
Don't remember.
What about large accounts?
Those large accounts, that means ounces.
I'm sorry, that means what?
Ounces?
Ounces, okay. Now, there are different types of accounts. There are large accounts and small accounts.
Correct.
Can you explain the difference of those?
I don't remember what the small accounts meant.
Okay. It doesn't refer to ounces?
What was the question?
Does small and large simply refer to ounces?
The large accounts refer to ounces. I don't remember what the small accounts refer to.
Okay. Could small mean amount of people as opposed to quantity of drugs?
Objection. So they remember. It's designed to try to refresh the memory and answer the question.
Okay. What was the question again?
Is it possible that small refers to the amount of people that are purchasing as opposed to the quantity?
I don't think so.
Okay. But large definitely refers to the amount of ounces that would be sold.
I believe so, yeah. It's not a definite. I honestly, I'm assuming yes.
Okay. But this is about selling cocaine.
Yes.
When you say equipment is 80% effective, can you explain that?
I believe that means 80% pure.
Pure means the quality of the drug.
Correct.
And when you were
Mermaid is
finalizing
sending
one of these
day
deals,
1 and 2.
What does co-signing the loan mean?
Oh my God, an escrow account.
I'm going to assume that it means,
Y'all are too
I
much.
don't recall exactly, but I'm assuming that means if he doesn't pay the debt, I will pay the debt. Like co-signing a loan.
Okay.
He bro signed it.
And that debt would be to Dean?
Just never
Correct.
gets old. You can see the clouds are.
So you're acting as an intermediary between Dean and
You're
other
starting to move
purchasers.
out.
Correct.
That's why I love the security cam. You can see how fast they're
I think
moving.
the jury will see, and we've reviewed that there are texts between you and Dean discussing plowing accounts, right?
Correct.
Talking about untrained temps.
Correct.
Does that also refer to quantity or of drugs, or does that refer to
Which
amount
part?
of people?
Which part?
You say 16 untrained temps.
So that, so the 16 is the quantity, and the untrained is the quality.
Okay. So untrained is probably more pure than trained, or
Welcome
am I
to
getting
the
that right?
family.
If I remember correctly, the UN is capitalized,
It
correct?
is.
Yeah, uncut, yes.
Got it.
Welcome, welcome.
It
You
also
live here
says
now.
16 untrained temps that we bill net 30, we would pay them $1,500 a week. Can you explain that?
16 untrained, say it again, I'm sorry.
16 untrained temps
Yep, okay, can I stop there?
Yep.
All right, 16 ounces of uncut cocaine.
That we bill net 30.
The payment's owed in 30 days,
Okay. And we would pay them $1,500 a week.
so they're $1,500 an ounce.
Okay. And when you say we would pay them, who is them?
That was me trying to be smooth about it and being like, we're still talking about plow counts here, not drugs.
Okay. And again, these are your texts to Dean. This text was to Dean.
Correct.
Because you are communicating with the ultimate buyer.
I am.
We read and we saw in the exhibit that Dean responds that, perfect. I'll work on that today and have an answer for you in a matter of hours. Do you remember that
I
text?
can't see the text messages.
Fair enough. You can see here at 334 is the text we just reviewed about the untrained temps. And then 338.
Correct.
Did not come to drug math. Did not come for that. Or to read.
Oh, here, I'll just review some more of these. I believe this was put on the screen yesterday, but at 9:06 p.m., that same day, Wednesday the 25th, you text Dean, sorry to bother you, just wondering what I should tell the accounts on staffing.
Correct.
Okay, and that is to communicate back to the person who was going to buy the drugs from you, right?
Correct.
The Dean was supplying to you to sell.
Correct.
Entrepreneur.
Says they are chomping at the bit to fill these accounts. Heard we might be getting another snowstorm soon. So let's stop there. Can you explain that?
Just heard we might be picking up soon. They're chomping at the bit, they're looking for their,
Okay.
yeah.
So they heard you might be picking up soon, meaning you would be getting cocaine delivered to Dean that could be then sold to your buyers in New Hampshire.
Say that again.
So a snowstorm is coming soon,
Yep.
meaning that cocaine is about to fall into your hands.
Snowstorm is coming soon, meaning that they heard that Dean will be picking up soon.
Got it. Okay. So Dean was getting from his supplier.
I'm assuming, yes.
And it says, I guess they're way understaffed. I can assume that means they are low on drugs and they need to restock so they can sell to their buyers. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Does that sound about right?
I would assume so.
Okay. What is it says? I guess they were way understaffed. The contractor they had before was union wages.
Prices were too high.
Okay. And the contractor that they had before was obviously another buyer of cocaine that they were purchasing, or sorry, another seller of cocaine they were purchasing from.
I'm assuming, yeah.
Okay. So you were angling to take over business from somebody else. Like this is a free market. You're fighting for customers, right? And again, these are texts with Dean because Tim is not part of this operation.
Correct.
Sorry, I shouldn't have walked away so fast. I'm going to turn to the next page. Here's the text we just reviewed, 9:06 p.m. The next page. It says, Dean to you, 9:28. I take it there was a good impression made. And then you say, Verri, my brother, Verri, at 9:29 p.m.
Correct, I did say that.
And
My
then he
brother.
says, I'm committing each and every resource to this. It's going to be a hell of a trick, brother. Okay? And then the last one I'll ask about is 9:47 p.m. I think it's going to be a hell of a year, brother. Right?
Yep, it says that. Yes, it says that.
You guys are talking about how much your drug business is going to grow over the next year.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
All right. Now, those texts were from the 25th. Wednesday the 25th.
Is that what it says?
Yep.
Yes.
Nate R, happy anniversary. Oh, wait.
Now, early morning, Wednesday the 25th. Maybe I can reorient you. That's the day, the early morning that Dean flies before.
Okay.
All right. You went to meet Verrill at the house at 3 in the morning.
I remembered.
Or you were there at the house. Let me rephrase that. You were there early in the morning.
I was there early in the morning.
Okay. I believe you texted Dean shortly after midnight that you were on your way up there.
I'll believe you. I'll say yes.
Well, let's make sure we get it right.
He said, I'll believe you. Just stop asking me questions. Yeah, I could never, we don't have snowplows in Florida. So I could never use that code. I'll just have to stick to podcasting and YouTube.
If you believe me, I'll say it. It's in the exhibit, 12:16 a.m.
Sounds good.
All right,
Thank
Wednesday the 25th, 12:16. Now, yesterday you were asked about going up there on direct, and you couldn't say you remember the exact reason why you went up there that morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
If I show you a transcript from the last trial in which you testified to the reason you went up there, would that refresh your
I
recollection?
don't think so.
Possibly.
Dave Welsh, it is not a trap house, it's a trap home.
I want you to line 5, and in fact, it begins with that text we just referenced at
Right there.
12:16.
It's a trap home.
That's somebody asking me a question, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Already welcome. Just got there, did you?
Does that refresh your recollection?
Yeah.
You went up that morning for the purpose of counting money and drugs?
Correct.
And that was communications you had with Dean about going up there?
Y'all crack me up.
Not with Tim.
Correct.
As you said, that was when when Dean was leaving to Florida that early morning, right?
Correct.
And after you guys counted money and drugs, he drove to the airport?
He rode to the airport. I think Christine drove.
Okay.
New Hampshire.
He was
is where this
running
is.
running a little bit late for his flight.
I don't know.
You don't remember if he was getting stressed about leaving for his flight?
I don't recall that right now, no.
If I show you a grand jury transcript, I might refresh your recollection.
Possibly.
This is great. Chat cat's off the rails today. It's wonderful. It's my favorite way to have it.
I just want you to start reading at line 6 and end at line 14.
To myself, correct?
Yes.
Hi, some of you are late. Ooh, you're late. Welcome. Come on in.
So does that refresh your memory?
I don't remember saying that, but I believe I said it.
But so this didn't refresh your memory of what you saw that night?
I don't remember.
And this was grand jury under oath.
Correct. So that's why I said if it's there. It's
I'm laying the foundation for the thing
Okay,
that's about
okay, okay.
to ask if I can read this paragraph into the record. Yes. No objection. And so the question, as you read it, was, and so you were at his house when he leaves for the airport, and you respond, yep, just talking to him, hanging out, and he was super stressed. Because Dean runs late and always misses his flights. I don't know if you've heard any of that, but, so he's freaking out, she's freaking out, she's trying to get him going. So that is about about Dean running late to the airport, correct?
Correct.
Now, Dean was running late, but he still stopped to show you how the surveillance system works inside the house.
I don't recall that.
She's locked up now, so she couldn't use her straightener. So her hair, that state issued stuff just don't hit the same. So she's looking a little different. A little different. Bless her. Bless her.
I'm showing you what is marked as States Exhibit 96. It's slide number 2.
Okay.
Date and time amended on the bottom is 1/25/2017, 3:49 and 54 seconds.
Correct.
I'm going to pause this here. 3:50:01. This is you?
Correct.
And for the record, this is sort of utility room, laundry room area.
Yeah, this is a utility room going into the, it's part of the basement, goes into the finished basement.
Okay.
Yep.
And so the way that you just walked through it, you were coming through the den of the basement.
Correct.
Okay, and that's Dean right there?
That is Dean.
And you're wearing flannel in this video?
I am wearing flannel in that video.
It appears that you and Dean are talking to each other?
Correct.
Now, Dean is pointing up into the corner.
Sure is.
He's also pointing around to where the wall meets the ceiling.
Correct.
At this point, he's directly in front of the camera, gesturing with his hands.
He is, correct.
At this point, he's on the threshold into the den, facing the wall, correct?
Correct.
That's where the surveillance system DVR is?
Yes, that is.
What's
Okay, the video ends with you two exiting the door and shutting behind.
Correct.
correct? Hello, welcome. Welcome in. Welcome.
Excuse me, I want to move forward to the Friday of...
Do you want me to tell you what he was pointing at?
I was just asking you about the video. Full
Okay.
exhibit.
I like it when he gets a little
Friday
sassy.
morning on January 27th. That's the morning that Tim came over to your house shortly after midnight.
Correct.
On direct examination, you said that you went out to the bars in Dover with your friend Ian.
That's correct.
And you were out from 9 p.m. to midnight?
I don't remember the time.
Okay. If I show you your grand jury transcript of that, refresh your recollection.
Possibly.
Hello, addicts. Hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Come on in. Take a seat. Get ready for a lot of bro jokes. Welcome, welcome. Hello, addicts. Hello.
I'm just going to ask you to start reading.
Hey, bro.
I think probably enough context that you start reading.
Hello.
Okay.
Everybody portaling on over. Get ready for all the bro jokes you can handle on a Friday afternoon.
Just read that one first.
Okay.
Did that
All
refresh your
of them.
recollection about the times you were out?
I still don't remember the times, but I will say that if I said it then, it's true.
Bring it on, bro. All the brokes. All the brokes you can handle.
All right, can I read this portion into the record?
Hello, hello.
You're asked, you go to Dover? You say, yep. You say, how long? They ask, how long are you in Dover? You say, a couple of hours. You say, all right. Answer, a few hours. And they question from? You say, probably like 9 to, I think I got to the Irving around midnight, so like 9 to midnight maybe. All right?
Correct.
And you and Ian went out drinking because right before that, you and your girlfriend Cassie had an argument?
Correct.
I will
Right,
tell
so-
y'all. Let me tell y'all. Y'all come on in, have a seat. But let me tell you what I'm gonna let y'all know what's happening. This fell on the stand, and they've been going over his communication with the defendant from 7 years ago, and they start every text with bro. Every text. And this is 7 years ago, so he doesn't remember any of the text. So in order to get them on the record, the attorney keeps having to read them. So he has read about 50-11 texts that start with bro. So we have all been having a broment since then. And we have now become a bromunity where it has taken over our lives for the last 24 to 48 hours, and it has been nonstop. I don't know how many times the word bro is going to be on this court record, but I know that it's going to be, I mean, it's up there. It's up there. There's going to be a lot of bros. A whole lot of bros. And last night I made a joke about having a glass of brosé as a nightcap. The witness's name is Josh, and it was Josh wine. So it all kind of is full circle, and it just lets us know that we're right where we need to be in the universe.
You had been out drinking that night.
Correct.
A bromance, if you will.
You had also been using drugs.
Correct.
So it's fair to say in the window between 12:30 a.m. and 2 a.m. Friday morning, you weren't sober?
It's ridiculous.
That's fair.
It's been a bro coaster ride.
Also, that was pretty late at night, early in the morning?
Correct.
It's a bromance.
You also testified on direct about what happened later that Friday morning, specifically Tim coming to your apartment, coming to your house.
The house, correct.
Okay. On direct yesterday, you said that Tim arrived around noon that day.
I did say that, yeah.
Okay. Now, one of your previous interviews with the police back in 2018, it was the first interview in which you had the immunity letter, okay? Do you remember that interview?
With the police?
That's right.
I don't remember having an immunity letter.
It's true.
In October of 2018?
Yes, I do remember that, yes.
Okay. And in that interview, they asked you when he arrived, and you said that you didn't remember.
Correct.
Sure, page 49. Of course, October of 2018 is closer to 2017 than 2024 is.
Correct.
You also talked about some of your observations of Tim.
That was the night I got arrested, correct? That's what you're talking about?
I'm sorry, say that again?
That was the night I got arrested.
Okay, I thought you meant Friday the 27th of 2017.
No.
Okay.
No.
We can leave that alone.
I'm sorry, Counsel, can we go? I'm sorry.
Yeah, they were selling brocane. They had a kind of like a drug ring going, and one of the victims was a part of it, and the defendant was a part of it, and this fellow is a part of it. Since then, he has he's doing a lot of good in the universe these days. He's done a lot of work. He's in recovery, and he's doing a lot of work to help other recovering addicts and stuff like that. So. Yeah, he does like drug counseling and stuff now. It's good.
And so in that interview, you were asked, do you remember the time? And you said, yep, it was. Well, I don't remember the exact time. It was. And then the lieutenant says, I'm not going to hold it. I'm not going to hold you to the time. Then you moved on.
Bro, defense attorney is not going.
Were you asking me?
Easy.
No, I was clarifying what you're answering. Sorry. All right, so I'll move on to the observations that you had of Tim late Friday in the morning.
Okay.
On direct, you said that Tim smelled like body odor.
Yeah. I said that when he came to my house later that day.
Right, so there's the early morning part we just discussed where you were drunk and high.
Right.
And then there's the one later in the morning when he came over.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm referring to.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what you're referring to as well?
Yes.
Okay. And on direct, you said that at that time, he smelled like body odor.
Correct.
It's also not unusual for Tim to smell like body odor.
I'd say that's fair.
You said he was wearing a t-shirt,
Correct.
and you saw him change pants,
Correct.
and you didn't see anything unusual about the pants he was wearing.
Correct.
You didn't see anything abnormal about any of his clothes.
Correct.
You didn't see any green specks on his clothes.
Not that I can recall.
You didn't see any blood on his clothes.
Not that I can recall.
You did not just say Broco butter. Chunk of bacon.
If I showed you the transcript from the last trial, would that refresh your recollection?
Possibly.
Soap on a broke.
Ask you to start reading at 6.
At 6.
And down to 9.
Okay.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay. So that morning you didn't see any blood on Tim?
Correct.
You did not see any green specks?
Correct.
And there's no blood on his clothes, right?
That I saw. No.
Okay.
He's
And he
already
wasn't
like
bleeding himself?
Correct.
same questions over and over.
Now, you can be yourself a paranoid and suspicious person.
What was that?
You can be a paranoid and suspicious person.
I'd say that's fair. Back then, absolutely.
You kind of always were on high alert then.
I'd say that's fair.
Now jump ahead to when you returned to Meterboro with Dean,
Okay.
after you picked him up at the airport. When you were in the house, you were feeling paranoid.
I was.
You were paranoid that you were hearing things.
Yes, I thought I heard somebody down in the basement.
Okay.
That's true.
And you were thinking that maybe somebody's hiding in the corner or something.
I don't know if I thought somebody was hiding in the corner. I do remember thinking that I heard somebody downstairs.
And that's because you were generally paranoid at that time?
I was pretty scared.
Okay, but generally paranoid at that time in your life?
Sure.
Yesterday, you also testified on direct about driving past the Meterboro house on Saturday. That's right.
Yes, correct.
After that, you believe that a truck was behind you, chasing you?
I think I do recall that.
And that was when you were driving back to your house?
Yes.
You tried to make a few turns to lose that car?
I don't remember.
Do you remember thinking that you lost the car?
Have fun.
I think so. I don't remember.
People have committed to the bro community. This defense attorney is dragging this out, though.
If I showed you a transcript of your reported interview with the police in October of 2018, might that refresh your recollection?
Possibly.
Starts on page 64. I'm going to direct you to. That's right. Okay. Starting on line 22. Read there through the next page. And then you can end on line 12 of page 69.
Where am I starting?
The very bottom.
Yeah, they need to change the community tab to Bromunity. YouTube be YouTubing though, so, you know, they don't listen to anything I say. They still kick everybody out once a day. All right, let me...
Recollection about those perceptions you told the police?
I don't remember that conversation at all. There was a lot going on that night.
Your Honor, may I read this into the record?
Any objection? Go ahead.
Get with the program.
Begins by you saying, but so we drive by again, and we drive by again like 3 times I did. Now this is me editorializing. That's you talking about going past the Meterboro house. Lieutenant Strong says, mm-hmm. And you say, and we turn around and we're headed back to the house.
Correct.
Your house. Correct.
Correct.
Well, all of a sudden, this fucking truck comes rolling up on us, and I'm like, I think now, there's snow on the ground, you know what I mean? Why is this truck killing it pretty heavy? And I think I think it was an SUV. I don't remember what it was, because it was like, I thought it was Tim. Like, I was like, is that Tim? Like, but then I realized it wasn't Tim's vehicle. Lieutenant Strong says, mm-hmm. You continue. And so you know how when you go down around, you can go straight, and you can take a right to the heart of the town. Lieutenant Strong, yep. You say, so we went straight, like, because I want to see if this vehicle is going to follow me. Lieutenant Strong, yeah. You say, but it didn't, and it was right on us. So we fucking go and we get finally down around a little bit, and it's gone. So like, oh, we were just pulling in the driveway, but when we turned around and came back, you could see where it stopped in the middle of the road, and it turned around. So they were chasing us. Lieutenant Strong, you didn't know who it was? And you say, no. And he says, and where they came from? And you say, no. Lieutenant Strong says, okay. And then you say, but they weren't in the driveway because we were past the driveway, you know what I mean? And Lieutenant Strong says, sure. That perception is consistent with having general feelings of paranoia during that time of your life, correct?
I'd say that's fair.
Yes.
Yesterday on Direct, you also claimed that after Tim left your house that Friday morning, you went to Home Depot that afternoon?
Yep, that's correct.
And as part of this investigation, no one asked you for a receipt?
That's correct.
No one ever asked you for credit card statements or debit card statements?
That's correct.
But I want to turn to early Saturday morning to ask you about something that wasn't mentioned yesterday on Direct. So, first you testified, as we just reviewed, that you drove past Dean's house on Friday afternoon.
Correct. Right. Yeah. Yes.
After Tim was in your house
Yes,
that morning,
correct.
right? And yesterday you also testified about going to Muterboro after you picked up Dean from the airport.
Correct.
Okay. There was also a third time you went to the house that weekend.
Before I picked up Dean?
On Saturday morning at 4 a.m.?
Correct.
You went there alone?
I don't remember.
You went up there to grab a surveillance camera?
I did.
And to get the camera, you entered the property and went up the front stairs?
Correct.
And the front stairs there at the front of the house?
Right. Correct.
Like between the driveway and the house?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And the camera was positioned at a pole on the top of the stairs?
Correct.
And you went and grabbed this camera because Dean told you to?
Correct.
And you went home and you tried to extract video footage from it?
He said that there might be a SD card on it.
Right.
Yeah.
An SD card meaning something that would hold video footage, capture
Correct.
video footage. So that's what you tried to extract?
Well, there was no SD card.
That's right. But you checked to see if there was an SD card?
Correct.
Because the purpose was you were going to see if there was any video?
Correct.
You wanted to see if it captured anyone going on or off the property around the time of the murders?
I'd say that's fair.
You eventually gave this camera back to Dean,
That's correct.
but you didn't give it to him right away.
I don't remember when I gave it back to him.
Do you remember him leaving a suitcase with you after you picked him up at the airport?
I remember there was a suitcase left at my house.
And at some point, he came back and picked that up?
Correct.
And that's when you gave him the camera back?
I don't remember when I gave him the camera back.
Okay. You gave the camera back after you had spoken to the police on January 30th?
I don't remember when I gave him back the camera.
Well, let me ask it this way. Between the time you left Muterboro when you dropped Dean off and the time that you spoke to the police at the recorded interview the next day, you did not see Dean?
No, I don't think I did.
So that camera was still in your possession when you were interviewed by the police on the 30th?
If I didn't give it back to him yet, I don't know when I gave him back the camera.
Okay. Do you recall when you gave back the suitcase or the luggage?
I don't.
Do you recall being after Dean was allowed back into his house?
I don't.
Now, when you spoke to the police the day after you dropped Dean off at Muterboro, you didn't tell them about this camera?
I don't remember.
Well, you didn't give the police the camera, right?
That's correct.
They didn't come to your house searching for it?
That's correct.
It's not in your statements to the police?
It's not what?
It's not in any of your statements to the police?
I don't remember.
Okay. You don't remember the first time mentioning this was the October 28th, 2018 interview, which is the first time you spoke to the police under the cover of the immunity letter?
I don't remember.
So we've referenced you picking up Dean from the airport. So let's talk about that Sunday.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry?
I was saying okay. I thought you were waiting for my response.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My kid brought me.
No.
He went to go pick me up my microphone.
Before we get to Sunday, so Saturday night, you were out having dinner with Cassie,
Correct.
again, your girlfriend at the time,
Correct.
and he texted you needing a ride from the airport?
He?
Dean.
Dean.
Yep.
Yes, correct.
Okay. You and Cassie were out at dinner in Concord?
Correct.
Okay. And you said, yep, Dean, I'll go pick you up.
I must have. I wouldn't pick him up.
I was making up those words. You agreed to go pick him up?
Yes.
Okay. But you had to stop home first in Farmington before you went down to Logan?
Correct.
So you go from Concord to Farmington and then down to Logan?
Correct.
And Cassie comes with you?
Correct.
All right, so you pick up Dean at the airport, and you and Dean and Cassie drive back to New Hampshire.
Correct.
Now, Cassie doesn't go with you and Dean to the Muterboro house.
Correct.
Right? You drop her off in Farmington.
Correct.
And you said on direct that between Logan and Farmington, you didn't talk about Tim in the car.
I don't remember talking about Tim in the car.
And you drop Cassie off at your house in Farmington.
Correct.
Right? And at that point, it's just you and Dean.
Correct.
And at that point, you go up to the house.
Correct.
And you run into the house, or Dean goes into the house first ahead of you, right?
Correct.
And you follow him.
Correct.
You saw Dean take pictures of a bloody mattress.
I might have. I think I did, yeah.
You also saw Dean make a phone call.
Correct.
Yesterday, you said you were at the house that morning for 15 minutes.
I think it was around 15 minutes. I think I said around 15 minutes.
Okay. When you testified at the grand jury, you said you were at the Muterboro house for a total of 5 minutes, right?
Okay.
When you were under oath at the grand jury, you said it was real quick. Correct?
Correct.
And then as soon as you saw the bloody mattress, you were out of there.
That's right.
Now, before you left the house, you testified yesterday that Dean gave you drugs to take home.
That's correct.
And those drugs were in a safe.
That's correct.
And that was the safe in the closet in the master bedroom.
I think it was.
He gave you an ounce of cocaine.
I don't remember what he gave me.
Okay, 2 pounds of crystal meth.
I don't remember what he gave me.
Do you remember how many pills of ecstasy he gave you?
I don't remember what he gave me.
But he did give you those drugs.
I don't remember what he gave me.
Okay. He gave you drugs?
Give me drugs.
Eventually you gave those drugs back to him?
Correct.
You also saw Dean fiddling with the surveillance system that morning.
I think so, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't realize that I had unmuted when I started opening the microphone that he brought me. I was trying to get it hooked up because this one is like not working great. Look, he needs more water. What did I tell y'all? He needed somebody get that man a Stanley Cup.
What is Martha States Exhibit 96? This is the record as a full exhibit. This is slide number 41. This is the same room that you were in the video that we watched earlier.
Is this the same video?
No, I'm asking. This is the same room. This is the same camera angle.
Correct.
Now, this is 93441. This already for the record has been established. This time may not be correct, but this is, at this point, you see Dean on the screen?
Correct.
I'm going to pause it here. The bottom right, there's movement of someone backing into that room wearing a plaid sweater or coat.
Correct.
That's not what we just saw Dean wearing, right?
Correct.
And that person was wearing plaid?
Correct.
And that person was in fact you?
I don't know.
Do you remember testifying about this at the last trial?
I don't. Yeah, actually I do.
You remember saying, so that is me, yeah?
Well, that's what page number is.
630, excuse me, 611?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
611? Because while the state's looking for it, I could just ask you, now that you say that you remember.
What are you asking me?
Was that you on the screen?
I remember the last time I said I wasn't sure. I think I said at one time it was me, and then I then said I'm not sure if that was me. Something along those lines.
Okay. Does it make sense if you said, after you said, so that was me, you said probably?
I don't remember the exact words I used.
Okay. Can I,
Object to the question and answer being read from the previous testimony.
May I
want to
read
read the question and answer?
I'm sorry?
I said go ahead if you want to read.
Says, and the reason I'm asking is, I'm asking if in the bottom right-hand picture, which is what I'll direct your attention to, you say, yeah.
Just supposed to be reading question raises up. Can you come up so I know what?
Sure. So you say, and, excuse me, the question was, and the reason I'm asking is, if in the bottom right-hand picture, which is what I'll direct your attention to, you say, yeah. It says whether or not you can see what's there and identify who that is. And you say, so that is me, yeah. Question, okay. And you say, yeah, so yeah, he did go in there to the room to the right. I forgot about that. I'm sorry. You say, no, that's okay. So you think maybe a hood and shirt is what we're seeing in your back? And you say, probably.
Can you hear me? Your microphone's plugged in. I broke it.
While we're on pause here, then we're going to take our afternoon recess. It's 2:30. We'll be back at 2:45. Thank you for leaving your open file.
Afternoon recess. All right. How is that? Is that sound quality better? It should be. Does it sound better than the last microphone? Good. Woohoo! Look at me go. I can plug things in and make them work. Good. This I've been saving up for one of these microphones actually. And they're on sale right now at Best Buy, which is where I just sent my kid to go get it. So since my other one broke, I figure it's time to just break down and do it. Because I got to finish recording the podcast, and I can't do it on the other microphone. It was crazy how much difference. When I recorded the section this morning, I recorded that section this morning and then went to look or listen, because you don't look at the podcast, you listen to the so I went to listen, and the sound quality from where my other one broke, and then I recorded that section this morning, it was so bad. It was like all of a sudden, like, you know, like when you're on the phone and then it connects to Bluetooth in your car with your windows down and like sirens going by. That's kind of like the difference that it was. Like you could hear the words coming out of my mouth, but then everything around it was just so bad. So I was like, oh gosh, it's my sign. I need to just go ahead and do it while it's on sale. Microphone. This poor guy's like, I'm never going to be able to get out of this chair for ever and ever. Amen.
Attorney McNichol, you can resume.
Just briefly, I want to return to you going to the Holy Rosary Bank with Tim.
Okay.
When you were in the parking lot, you attempted to, or you did text Christine's phone.
Correct.
And there was a response. I can show you what the response was.
I remember the response.
Remember the response? I have her phone, LOL.
Correct.
Right. And that response was at 4:55 p.m.?
I don't know the time.
Okay.
Okay.
It's double murder trial. The defendant was selling drugs for one of the victims and thought that she was
so
snitching.
4:55 p.m.
Allegedly.
Response, I have her phone, LOL.
Correct.
And then we mentioned this text earlier, where you text Dean, 5:02 p.m., all set, brother?
Correct.
I have no further questions, Your Honor, but I would like to move to admit Defense Exhibit AA as a full exhibit and strike ID.
Do you recall? That's the, all right, so AA, full exhibit, ID is stricken. Anything further? Redirect?
No, thank you.
All right, so Mr. Caldwell, that completes your testimony. You may step down. Thank you. Great. State, call your next witness, please.
State call is Brian Gore.
I know he's ready to get out of there. You know what? Good for him. Good for him. He did good. He did good. Dean, what? Oh, Dean is the homeowner. Him, or he lived there. I don't know if he was the owner. Honestly, it could have been a rental. I didn't go that far. But he lived in that house where the bodies were found.
Stand, if you wouldn't mind stepping
with one of the
in,
victims.
remain standing and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give to the jury will be the truth and the whole truth under the penalties of perjury?
I do.
Please be seated.
Good afternoon. If you could start, please, just by introducing yourself to the jury.
Brian Gore.
Where do you work?
I work for the city of Dover.
How long have you worked for the city of Dover?
4 years.
And what is your position there?
I'm a police officer.
Do you have any law enforcement experience prior to working at Dover?
Yes, I was employed by the town of Farmington for roughly 8.5 years.
And what was your rank with the town of Farmington?
I left there as a sergeant.
And during the time frame of January into February of 2017, were you working with the Farmington Police Department?
I was.
Okay. Were you given several assignments to assist in the investigation of a double homicide that had occurred in Farmington?
I was.
Did those assignments include obtaining surveillance footage from several locations?
Yes.
And specifically on February 3rd of 2017, were you assigned to go to the Sprint store in Dover?
I was, yes.
And why were you going to the Sprint store?
To retrieve some surveillance videos.
When you got to the store, were you in fact able to get video surveillance from Sprint?
I was, yes.
Welcome.
Did you get anything else from the Sprint store?
Some receipts.
And I'm going to approach you with State's Exhibit 21. You could just take this out of its sleeve and tell us what's in there.
That last witness, when they were reading all of his text into the record,
It seems to be a CD.
they all started with bro.
With some surveillance video.
Are your initials on there with the date?
Yes.
Does that disc contain the videos you obtained from the Sprint store?
They do.
Does
That's
it
our
also
bro.
contain footage from other stores we're going to be talking about later?
It does.
And have you reviewed those videos prior to today?
I have, yes.
Thank you. Take that back. So I'm going to start by reviewing a portion of the video that you recovered from Sprint, and we're going to start with a file named Dover _06 _ 2017 0128 _ 12:18:27. Could that file name be consistent with 12:18 and 27 seconds on January 28th, 2017?
Yes.
And I'm going to play a portion of this video, which will last about 3 minutes.
Bro. Really? We'll never be fully done with them because we are like officially a bro-munity now. Bro will live on in our hearts forever. The cop is the bro-mander-in-chief. Is this getting the new phone? Didn't they say it got a new phone? Correct. Yes. I did, Mermaid. I got that link you sent me, and I did watch that. I was working on some stuff while I was listening and watching, but it was really awesome to hear so many personal stories about John O'Keefe. I loved it. Who is hollering out there? Youngins in the pool. He missed the bro assignment. It is really small, isn't it? That's a really small store.
And next, I'm going to play a file titled Dover _06 2017 01 to 8 124613. Could that file name be consistent with 12:46 p.m. on January 28th, 2017?
Yes.
And this video is only about 15 seconds.
Sean McDonough, right? I think was the name.
And now I'm going to show
Mermaid
you
has
States Exhibit 12A. Do you see 4 pictures around the outside of that exhibit?
Yes.
Are those still photos from the surveillance videos that we just watched from Exhibit 21?
They are.
And then there's another document that's in the middle there. What does that appear to be?
It appears to be the receipt from the Sprint store.
The receipt that you recovered from Sprint?
Yes.
And I'm going to pull that up just on its own now. Is there a date and time tendered that you can see on that receipt?
There are.
What is that?
It says January 28, 2017 at 12:33 p.m.
And is that date and time consistent with the name of the files from the footage we just watched?
It is.
And there's a Bill 2 section under that. Who does it say the sale was made to?
Crystal Philippe.
And does it say what was purchased?
A Samsung Galaxy J3 cell phone and a new activation.
And next to that new activation, is there a number next to that?
Yes, 603-969-3727.
And now I'm going to show you States Exhibit 24, and if I could draw your attention to the second line down, labeled Timothy Verrill, do we see that same number, 603-969-3727 in blue next to his name?
Yes.
Did you also, as part of your assignment in this case, obtain footage from Walmart?
I did.
And is that footage also
Bingo.
contained on that disc we talked about earlier?
It is.
Were there numerous clips you reviewed from Walmart, about 30 of them?
Yes.
And I'm going to switch. Walmart has its own player, so I'm going to switch over to that for a moment. If I can be seated for this portion so the clock doesn't go.
Here we go. Where's our Walmart emoji?
So I'm going to start by showing you this.
There has not been a trial yet that has not had one. I thought we were going to make it through Trachonis without one.
I'm going to start by showing you what's labeled as clip number 10.
Walmart is the bingo free space.
And before I play it, if I could draw your attention to the top of that video, is there a date and timestamp on there?
Yes.
What is that?
The date is January 27th, 2017, and the time is 1:06 p.m.
Play that clip now.
No, the crackling sounds are something coming from the feed because I hear it in my headphones.
And next I'm going to show you clip number 11. And again, if you could tell us the date and timestamp on the top of that clip.
Friday, January 27th, 2017 at 1:06 p.m.
Now I'll play clip 11. And lastly, I'm going to play clip 3. Could you tell us the date and timestamp at the top of this clip?
The date is Friday, January 27th, 2017 at 1:16 p.m.
It's like every trial.
I'll play clip 3.
And it could be something small. It could be just like in Traconis, it was just like they said that something was across the street from a Walmart. And we were like, how? That was like a bunch of days into it, though.
There were some still photographs also pulled from the Walmart surveillance footage.
Yes.
And I'm showing you now State's Exhibit 13A are the 3 photos of the male there that we see on that exhibit, the 3 still photos from that footage we just watched.
Yes.
And up top, there's a date and time, Friday, January 27th, 2017 at 1:15 p.m. Is that consistent with the date and time of the clips that we just watched?
Yes.
Did you also collect surveillance footage from Lowe's?
I did.
Is that surveillance footage also on this same disc we've been talking about,
Never.
Exhibit 21?
It is.
So the first clip I want you to look at is titled Main Exit, _1 period 27 period 2017 period 14 period 14 period 58 _1 period 27 period 2017 period 14 period 15 period 43. Would that be consistent with approximately 2:14 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. on January 27th?
Yes.
And the jurors have heard a little bit about military time so far, but does that appear to be in military time?
It is, yes.
And how do you convert that to regular time?
That would be 2:15 p.m.
So I'm going to play this first clip now, which is about 47 seconds long.
We are not going to be able to finish everything today. We're going to come close, but I have to end because I have a very big meeting. But we can, whatever at the end of the day we don't get today, we can add to Monday.
And I'm going to move to the next clip now, which is titled SCO Overview. PVM _1 period 27 period 2017 period 14 period 22 period 58 _1 period 27 period 2017 period 14 period 28 period 20. Would that be consistent with about 2:28 to 2:29, or sorry, 2:22 to 2:28 p.m. on January 27th?
Yes.
And I'm going to play this video now. It's a little bit of a longer one. It lasts about 5 minutes.
At least we get to see these videos. You know, the other ones that they wouldn't show us for a while when they were looking at stuff. They wouldn't show us the camera angle. Dot would make a lot more sense. Dot would, I mean, it's fewer syllables. It doesn't interrupt the flow of the sentence as much. Dot would have been a good call on that one. From a precision standpoint, from an efficiency standpoint. Bro likes periods. Yeah, self-checkout is always under heavy surveillance. You know what's funny about this? I'm glad you brought this up, Red Pin. You know, people go to the murder aisle on Walmart and then they'll go through self-checkout. Like, this way nobody will see me. Bro, this is the way that everybody sees you. Because there's way more cameras. The cameras are more high definition. And, like, everybody... Somebody's here and she's mad. Lucy's not happy that there's people in the hallway. Lucy. They come by about once a week and they'll put these flyers here. They think they don't realize that this isn't all vacationers, that people live here. So I get these twice a week where they're wanting me to order pizza from them. And they'll stick it in the door. And Lucy gets so mad. She's like, how dare you? How dare you touch our doorway? You did good. You got those bad pizza guys. Yes, you did. You got them so good. You told them who's boss. They were scared to come back. Yeah, good job. Don't open the door. We know how the movie ends. You know what? If I ever open the door and something nefarious happens, this is the best time to do it because I got, however many of y'all are in here right now, I've got all these sleuths in here, like, y'all be able to...
And lastly, from Lowe's, I want to play you a clip titled Main Exit _1 period 27 period 2017 period 14 period 28 period 24 _1 period 27 period 2017 period 14 period 29 period 31. Would that be consistent with 2:28 to 2:29 p.m. also on January 27, 2017?
Yes.
And this one is only 11 seconds.
Oh, Jesus. She almost bit my thumb off. I'm telling you, these things are like crack to dogs.
Did you also review still photos from the Lowe's surveillance footage?
I did.
And I'm showing you now State's Exhibit 8A. Do we see 4 different photographs around the outside of that exhibit?
Yes.
And are they the stills from the video that we just watched?
They are.
Did you also recover surveillance footage from Red's Shoe Barn?
I did.
And did you review those videos?
I did.
Are those also on that disc, Exhibit 21?
They are.
Did those videos have date and timestamps on them?
Yes.
So I'm going to start with a file that was labeled Saturday In, and I'm going to play about 30 seconds of that video.
Just tried to bite my finger off. It's more bro-efficient. Yes.
And do you see a date and timestamp in that video?
I do.
What is it?
I'd be January 28, 2017 at 3:13 p.m.
And again, is that converted from military time? So 1513 would be 313?
Correct.
Next, I want to view a portion of the file labeled Saturday Checkout, and I'm going to play about 35 seconds of this clip.
This is the 28th. What day did they call the... I have it in the video description, don't I? What day they called 911?
And again, can you tell us the date and timestamp at the bottom of that video?
January 28, 2017 at 3:25 p.m.
And now I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 10A. Do you see 4 photos on this exhibit?
Yes.
And are they the stills from the videos that we just watched?
They are.
Okay. Do they also show those same date and timestamps from the clips we just watched?
They do, yes.
Did you also review videos from Target?
I did.
And again, are those videos on Exhibit 21?
They are.
So I'm going to show you, or actually, are there also still photos from Target on Exhibit 21?
There are, yes.
And did you review those still photos from Target?
I did.
So now I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 22. Are those the stills from Target that you reviewed?
Yes.
And I want to focus on a couple of those pictures. First, if you could look at the first photo on the top left, is there an embedded date and time in that picture?
Yes, Saturday, January 28, 2017 at 3:40 p.m.
And is there an embedded location in that picture?
It says entrance, GM vestibule.
What about the next photo over on the right, so the middle photo, top row, does it have that same location on it?
Yes.
And what's the time on that still photo?
The time on that is 3:40 p.m.
And now I'm going to go through a couple clips from Target with you.
I'm kind of offended they brought Target into it. Leave Target alone.
The first one is from a file labeled DC096 Shoes. And I'm going to play about 22 seconds of this video here.
Don't be doing Walmart type of stuff at Target. It's rude. He just hit all the murder outs. Like he got like
And I'm going to play
Walmart,
you
Target,
a
Lowe's.
second clip from this same file that's also about 20 seconds long.
You throw in a Dollar General, we're done today.
Apologies.
Dollar Generals are more like in like random pastures and stuff. Like you just, Dollar Generals are the weirdest spots, aren't they? Yeah, Target.
And is there an embedded date and time at the top of that video?
There is. It's Saturday, January 28, 2017 at 3:45 p.m.
And next, I want to look at the file titled D088 Sporting Goods. But before we start playing it, do you see a timestamp and a date at the top of that video?
Yes, Saturday, January 28, 2017 at 3:46 p.m.
Okay. And we'll play this clip now. It's about 2.5 minutes.
Nobody has seen me look worse than the cashiers at Dollar General. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. Nobody on this earth has seen me look worse or rougher than the cashiers at Dollar General. I should start sending them Christmas cards. And we call it the Dollar Gentral. Yeah, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one.
And now I'm going to go back to Exhibit 22, the still photos. And if I could focus you on the still on the bottom right row, is there an embedded location in that picture?
The bottom right says...
Bottom right corner, yep.
The exit vestibule.
And is there an embedded date and time in that photo?
The date is Saturday, January 28, 2017 at 3:58 p.m.
Did you also review footage from Kohl's?
I did.
Okay. And are those files also on that same disk, Exhibit 21?
They are.
And I'm going to review some of those now with you as well.
Not Kohl's.
Video player. So let me switch to that.
Who had Kohl's Cash on their bingo card? Nobody?
And I'm going to start with a file that is labeled 029 men's front doors. And I want to direct your attention to the end of that file name up top there. Does it end with 2017-01-29_15H44min54S?
Yes.
And would that be consistent with January 29, 2017 at 3:44 p.m.?
Yes.
And I'm going to begin playing this video at 3:54 and 40 seconds.
Somebody pull his Kohl's Cash rewards. You'll be able to see everything he bought.
And for the record, I've stopped it at 3:55 and 11 seconds. So next, I'm going to play you the file that begins with 008 young men's. And I'm going to begin playing that file at 4 o'clock and 38 seconds.
So random. Like when you have a double homicide to commit later, but your Kohl's Cash expires at midnight. Like what? He sure was busy.
I apologize. Back to the beginning of that video. Play it from 4 o'clock. stopped that video at 4 o'clock and 38 seconds. And the last clip I want to go through with you from polls is the clip that begins in 033 Reg 10-12.
It's a young Rose.
And do you see an embedded date and time at the bottom of this video?
The date is January 29, 2017 at 15:44.
And I'm going to start this video at 4:01:38. And we're going to watch through to the end of this one.
My meeting is at 4, and so probably about 15 minutes. Give me a little bit of time to take Lucy OUT and get back and get on Zoom. Thank you. I love how y'all look out. I'm on Central Time, yeah. I'm in like the one little section of Florida that's Central Time. Because they don't even really consider this Florida. I'm in like lower Alabama. The little part of Florida that's directly under Alabama is Central Time. And the whole rest of it is East Coast Time. I think we're going to do the members only at, I think we're going to do it like 3 Central, 4 Eastern on Sunday. We're going to do Meet the Mods again, so you get to meet some more of the mods that weren't there last time. And a few other fun things. And I'll tell you all about some exciting stuff coming up too. I'm going to be a guest on a big podcast.
Yeah, ending time is 4:05 and 59 seconds p.m.
Now I'm going to show you
And
Exhibit 7A.
there's a bunch of big stuff coming up.
Do you recognize the photos in that exhibit?
Life has gone crazy
Are they
lately.
stills from the video we just watched?
They are.
And finally, did you also obtain surveillance footage from Wentworth Douglas Hospital?
I did.
And I'm going to approach you with State's Exhibit 68. If you could take that out and tell us what it is, please.
It's Yeah, another CD with video footage from Wentworth Douglas Hospital.
Did you also review that disc prior to trial?
I did.
And is that your name or your initials and the date you reviewed it on there?
It is.
So, Wentworth Douglas also has their own layer. I'm going to switch over to that now.
Members Only was fun. It was very laid back. Like, we had some of the mods on there, and we laughed and joked about stuff, and it was fun.
17 Farm INB arrival.
I am not a guest speaker at CrimeCon. I had someone ask me about doing a panel, but
And I'm going to start with the view of the camera labeled north.
I don't have time for that right now. I want to go and enjoy it. I don't have time to prep anything.
And at the bottom of this video player here, do you see a date and time stamp?
I do.
What is that?
January 28th, 2017 at 8:57 p.m.
And I'm going to start playing this video at 8:59.
I think we're going to do 4 Eastern, 3 Central.
36 seconds.
Sunday. I enjoyed doing it a lot last week. It's nice because I don't really have to prepare anything for it. We just kind of hang out. Y'all got to ask the mods questions, and we talked and laughed and told stories. It was a lot of fun.
For the record, I've paused there at 9 o'clock and 3 seconds, and I'm going to switch to the camera labeled ED Patient REG. And I'm going to start playing that file at the same time, 9 o'clock and 3 seconds.
Yeah, Dinah Bro. I love Dinah Bro's laugh.
For the record, I stopped the video here at 9:02 and 0 seconds. And now I want to switch over to the other file labeled 01-28-17 Farm INB Depart. Start on this file with the EDREG camera. And I'm going to begin playing that.
Thank you for gifting a membership.
20 seconds.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, let me look before we go. Let me see what our update is. You know, they stopped showing the trial we were watching. Let's see what we can find. Oh.
seconds, and then you may switch to
The jury
Hall camera view.
The jury deliberated. I'm going to stop this right here. Because we're about to have to end for the day anyway. Hellcat, thank you for gifted memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to our new members. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, Hellcat. Thank you, thank you. And Hope gift, where'd it go? Hope gifted one, Lynn71 and Melissa Filson, Mike Savage, Skylar, Gina Farley, and Alicia Bennett are gifted memberships. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so David Murdaugh, the trial that we were watching that had the terrible camera angles and then they stopped showing it, guilty of first-degree murder in the shooting death of ex-girlfriend in 2019. Are we surprised? No. I mean, remember Sanda got up there and, bless her heart, strong as could be, got up there and testified about him, killing her friend and shooting her in the face. Terrible. So, we are not surprised. Now, the part that is, that made this, kind of a big one, we knew he was guilty. But the part that makes this a big one, of course, is the death penalty case. So this is what this says. A jury found David Marshall Murdaugh guilty of first-degree murder Tuesday for the 2019 killing of Lisa Bunce in Haines City. The jury of... Oh, I didn't know this. Jury of 11 women and 1 man. Not that it would have mattered. He guilty all day long. But knowing that... Can you imagine? That's 11 women and 1 man getting up there and listening to that, testimony from Sanda about him shooting her in the face and killing her best friend and him being psycho pants. 11 women, 1 man. They found Murdaugh guilty of the most serious charge against him after deliberating for about 8 hours. I'm surprised it took that long, honestly. They had begun deliberations Tuesday afternoon at the Bartow Courthouse and then resumed on Wednesday morning. Let's see. The best friends it talks a little bit about their history stuff. Dinah Bro, get to the membership. Thank you so much. Thank you. It went to Tayo Toys. Hey, Tayo Toys. Hello. I see Tayo Toys and I'm sitting here thinking, what all have I said in here? And I'm thinking about them Dollar General comments. And it doesn't matter. Okay. Anywho. Welcome to the green side. Thank you so much, Dinah Bro. All right, so it talks about a little bit about the story. We had gone over this. Of course, Murdaugh, 65, of Lake Wales, killed Bunce, 56, on January 5th, 2019, while she was in Haines City visiting her friend, Sanda Andrews, according to evidence at his trial. The best friends had often traveled back and forth like snowbirds from the Midwest to Florida and stayed at Andrews' place at 373 Melbourne Drive in Sweetwater Golf and Tennis Community. The prosecution presented evidence to show Murdaugh shot Bunce, his ex-girlfriend, with a 9mm Glock handgun after also wounding Andrews with a gunshot to the face as the woman sat in the Florida room of Andrews' home. 3 9mm shell casings were found just outside the screened-in porch of the home. Bunce had fled from the front of the home and tried to hide in a master bedroom closet, but because she had also been wounded by one of the initial 3 bullets fired, she had a trail of blood down a hallway and a doorknob. Murdaugh then entered an unlocked side door, followed the trail of blood down the hallway to find her, and shot her 2 more times, evidence showed. One of these shots hit Bunce's vital internal organs after first passing through her arm and entering her chest. That bullet killed her within minutes before first responders could arrive. They also found him guilty of 3 other charges, including a lesser charge of second-degree attempted murder for the shooting of Andrews, as well as charges of armed burglary of a dwelling and shooting into a building. In the original indictment against Murdaugh, he had faced a first-degree attempted murder charge for the shooting of Andrews. They are seeking the death penalty. So his defense attorney, remember Deborah Tuomi? I still don't know if I'm saying that right. Said, "We respect the jury's decision. David Murdaugh is not beyond redemption, and we hope that his life is spared." Before beginning to deliberate on Tuesday, the jury had heard competing versions of what led up to the 2019 murder. The prosecution called the homicide premeditated murder, and the defense said several circumstances showed Murdaugh's actions were not premeditated. Defense attorney Deborah Tuomi asked the jury to find Murdaugh not guilty of premeditated murder. She said that premeditation is a fully formed, conscious intent to kill someone, and with that intent, a defendant would have to also have time for reflection. She said it is also not felony murder, which would be a death that occurred during the commission of a felony. The circumstances do not add up to premeditation, she said. At age 60, at the time of the crime, her client was on the last stretch of life, wanting what all Americans want, a place to call home, to share with someone they love. Okay, you know what? He had someone he loved, supposedly, back at home. He left his new girlfriend to go kill the ex. So I don't think that that is applicable in this specific situation. But what do I know? So let's see if we can find where are they about the death penalty, or when we find out death penalty phase. All right, here we go. The trial will Take two. The trial will resume for a penalty phase on Tuesday. The jury could deliberate again by Wednesday on whether they recommend Murdaugh should be put to death for his crimes. Medical examiner Stephen Nelson, who also testified earlier in the trial, and victim impact statements are expected during the prosecution's case for a death penalty. In court filings, the defense submitted a list of witnesses who could be called, including a psychiatrist and Murdaugh's family members. And then it's remember, in Florida now, down here, new law from last year, you only have to have a jury to recommend death sentence 8-4. It doesn't have to be unanimous. If you have 8 on a jury here in Florida now that recommend death penalty, then the law is that the judge must then weigh the jury recommendation before imposing the sentence. So, interesting. Here's my thing. Bro took off down the road knowing she was there, jumped out of his truck, guns a-blazing, and shot her. That's premeditation. This isn't like they were in an argument and, whatever. Like, that was premeditation. So, as far as death penalty goes, I mean, I don't think it's kind of pointless, honestly. Like, it would never be, they would never carry it out anyway. Like, the process for appeals and stuff is so long for death penalty stuff that it would never happen anyway. I'm not a big death penalty fan, but all right. So that's all we got for today. I am going to jump off of here because I have to get ready for my big meeting, and I still need to take the girl out, let her do her business before we come back. Sound good? I will get the members only stream set up for whatever we said, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central for Sunday. And we'll do another Meet the Mods, so y'all can get to put their beautiful faces with their beautiful names. We'll have a whole moment. Bromant. improvement. All right, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. Good vibes for the meeting. Good vibes for the meeting. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. No, Court TV is still showing the meeting, or the Court TV is still showing that case. It was the Murdoch one that they stopped showing. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate everything. Y'all have an excellent Friday and Saturday, and I will see y'all on Sunday at Members Only.
I gotta go. I can't stick around here forever.
Everybody was wonderfully behaved. Everybody's always so nice to me.
Just love your channel. And
Good morning.
Goodbye, good people. Now, how the heck do I get out of here?